This episode of Your Morning Drive is brought to you by Fireworks Co-working. They are a creative co-working space located in Marietta, Georgia, focused on supporting the local community and uplifting creative entrepreneurs. If you want to try out this beautiful space, this podcast room is just one of the many available rooms and spaces available for you and your company to work at. If you want to try them, you can. Use code DRIVE at checkout and you'll get a free day pass. So, if you're working from home, if you're working at an office that you don't have to go to, if you're tired of working at your kitchen table where you have to listen to your kids or your spouse or the lawn people in the outside cutting the grass and it's too loud for your Zoom meetings. Well, you don't have to worry about that. You can try out Fireworks Co-working in Marietta, Georgia. It's right down the street from Kennestone Hospital. They are the presenting sponsor of Your Morning Drive. They offer me a beautiful space for me to be able to record my podcast with all of the creators, business owners, and other individuals that I get the pleasure of interviewing, and they can be your home too. So either go to the space, tour the place with the staff, tell them Logan Lewis from Your Morning Drive sent you, or if you're booking online, again, use code DRIVE, DRIVE, for a free day pass to try the space. Your Morning Drive is also present to us by Good Days Canned Cocktails. Good Days are a classic cocktail brand created in a convenient, ready-to-drink canned format for any occasion, whether it's a pool day, a boat day, a beach day, a graduation, a wedding, a bar mitzvah, anything in between. Good Days are there for you. Good Days are ahead when they are in your cooler, your fridge, your anything in between. Good Days has your back. If you want to be one of the first to try their drink, you can do so by visiting drinkgooddays.com/pages/find-us to find a store near you selling their drink. Of course, you must be 21 years of age to consume and purchase. Strongside Fitness is another partner of our podcast today. They've been voted the #1 gym in Cherokee County for 4 consecutive years. Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? Are you ready to take control, lose some weight, and feel like you did 20 years ago? They've got you. At Strongside, their group workout classes, led by certified trainers, create fun and safe workout environments that has helped thousands lose thousands. Strongside puts the community at the center of what they do. Everyone is welcome, everyone is treated equally, and everyone is safe to be there. If you want to get a free 7-day pass, visit their website, www.thestrongside.com. That's www.the-strongside.com, and start your fitness journey today. Strongside, we make people better. Welcome back to another episode of Your Morning Drive. I am Logan. I am your host. Today, we are live from the Fireworks studio in Marietta, Georgia. Before we get into our show today, if you enjoy what we do here, I just need you to do me one solid favor, and I just need you to send the link to this episode to one friend, one coworker, one family member, your neighbor, your ex-girlfriend, somebody that needs this show to start their day. If you want to send them a link to listen, you can send them either an Apple or a Spotify link. We're on both of those platforms, as well as YouTube if you want to watch in full video. If you want to see our lovely faces and facial expressions and mannerisms and all the things in between, you can tune in on YouTube. If you want to support the show and me more than just watching, you can follow along on the social medias, of course, Facebook, Instagram. I'd say TikTok, but maybe hold off on following on TikTok because I'm trying to figure out TikTok and I'm not doing the best at it and I'm not consistent with it. But Instagram and Facebook, I am on religiously. That's where you get clips, show updates, all the things, episode announcements, behind the scenes, everything in between. If you want to support me, if you like what I'm doing and you're like, I don't know how to give to what you're doing. I don't know how to contribute. I don't know how to help. I signed up for this service called Buy Me a Coffee. And it's essentially a service where you can essentially just you're essentially just Venmoing somebody $5 to show support for what they're doing, but it's got more of a cool, tagline and everything. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. It's kind of like a Patreon, but instead of having subscription tiers, you can just donate to a cause or a creator or an entrepreneur or somebody that you just believe in what they're doing. So if you want to do that, if you want, it's at your morning drive. Some people ask me, how can I support? I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, you can do this. You can buy me a coffee. But my guest today is a cancer survivor and the founder of Lumina of Hope, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering women through transformative retreats and community support. Her personal journey, marked by health challenges, infertility struggles, and the loss of her mother, has fueled her passion for creating a sanctuary where women can heal, connect, and rediscover their strength. Her background spans roles as director of operations and entrepreneur with a consulting business focused on small business and a creative side as a published children's book author. Her resilience and compassion drive her vision for a world where women navigate life's complexities with strength and humor. Please welcome my new friend, CoCo Collier.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm very happy to be here.
I am very happy that you are here. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your weekend away from the kids to hang out with me.
Well, that's the good thing. I get to hang out with you away from my kids. No,
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, we love the kids. We love the kids. Shout out to the kids.
Love teenagers.
Yes. Are they all teenagers?
They are. Yes. Yeah. My son is 13 and
Yep.
my daughter is 17. She's a senior this year, which is wild.
Very exciting.
It is exciting. But let me tell you, I should have done a little research before agreeing to do this because
This?
yes. Well, I mean, not that I didn't want to be on a podcast. This
Yeah.
is my first podcast. I'm a little shaky. I will completely admit to that.
You're doing great so far.
Thank you. Thank you. But here's the thing. So like 2 nights ago, I was telling my son, I was like, I probably need to listen to one of Logan's podcasts and kind of get an idea of the banter or the style. And so we start to listen to one on Spotify. And
Okay.
in the intro, what happens in the intro is you mentioned that this is going to be on YouTube. And I'm like, whoa, hold up, pump the brakes. And he looked at me because he knew. He's like, oh, mama, because I did photography for 13 years. I love being behind the camera, not in front of the camera.
Okay.
And he's like, let's go see what's on YouTube. So then we go to your YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh, sweet baby Jesus. Like, this is legit. And now I have to worry about what I look like and also sound like. So yeah, I'm a little nervous. My shoulders are up high by my ears, but I'm trying to bring them down.
Yeah.
And breathe through this.
I know it's easy for me to say because I've done it 300 sometimes, but just pretend like that's not there.
Okay.
And pretend like these aren't there. And we're just talking.
Sure. Okay.
We're just hanging out.
This is just 2 girls having fun, right?
That's right.
Having
we're,
coffee.
We're just exactly. We're just chilling. We're hanging out. It's
I
a
love
beautiful Saturday.
Yes.
And we're just chilling.
For some coffee talk. Oh my goodness.
I'm moving a little slow today. Goodness
Are you?
gracious. Oh God.
I'm a morning person too, so sorry about that.
Well, no, I am a morning person,
Are you?
but
Okay.
I didn't get home till 2 a.m. last night.
Oh, why?
I went a little crazy last night.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, I mean, nothing bad. I mean, so I went out to a very classy establishment with some friends, and we were there till 2 a.m. And I say classy establishment because it's not classy. It's very dive bar-ish, very trashy. When you walk in, you immediately, this is about to sound horrible, but when you walk in, you immediately think, I am better than most of these people.
Oh.
No, not better than, but like I'm in a better place than most of these people.
Oh.
It's called Kennesaw Billiards.
Okay.
It's off
I don't
of
get out, so I don't know where it is. Where is it at?
It's off of, is it Cherokee Street in Kennesaw? It's probably not 15 minutes away from here. I mean, it's I don't know how to describe it.
Okay.
You know where West 22 is? That big like college.
No, I don't, but I'm going to say that I do.
You've definitely driven through the area before.
Okay.
And if I pointed it out on the map, you'd say, oh, it's right there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like tucked into like a like the corner of a shopping center.
Yeah.
And it's essentially just like a bar that people can smoke in, and
Yeah.
there's pool tables everywhere. There's like
Okay.
40 pool tables that people just set up and play pool at. And
Uh-huh.
I just happened to set up and play pool for several hours. Got there
Wow.
at 7,
And you
left
got
at 2.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that a good choice or a bad choice? What do we
Well,
think?
for the memories, and I don't have children, so I
Okay.
can do that.
Okay.
Um,
So you're living it
So
up.
I'm living it up. And a couple of my buddies don't have kids. So I was like, we got to do this now. And we don't have kids. And but
Well,
then
good
one
for
of my buddies
you.
that does have kids
Mhm.
was like, I'm here. And I was like, well, and he's like, well, you just manage your time right. And you can
Yeah.
still have, he's like, life does not have to end when you have kids. It doesn't have to.
Okay.
Did yours end when you had kids?
A little bit. I mean, I'm going to be real, just a little bit.
Be real.
Yeah, definitely. I think for women, it's different too.
Sure.
Can I
Probably.
say that?
I think so.
Yeah, it's very different. In fact, I feel like, so we probably have a little bit of an age difference because I'm in my 40s here.
Mm.
So seasoned, married. You're married, right?
I am.
Okay. How long have you guys been married for?
Under 3 years.
Okay. So y'all are still like in a honeymoon.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. And so, but yeah, I feel like, especially for women in my age range and like mid 30s and mid 40s, that time frame, we realize that, we do give up so much of ourselves to take care of our kids because it's nonstop, like that
Mhm.
internal dialogue.
Yeah. It's a full-time job plus more.
We're always worrying and thinking about the needs of our kids and then our spouse as well. And so I want to say that life doesn't change like differently when you have kids, but it definitely does.
But I do think it is
So-
different for women. I mean, it's a different bond that you have
Yeah.
with your child. I mean, you carry them for 9 months
Yeah.
and then they come out and it's like, this is a piece of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see how.
Yeah. It's very different. And you know what's funny is, and this is good for you guys to know. You can tell your wife this. So it's funny because the sacrifices that I feel like I made to care for my kids when they were little,
Mhm.
they don't remember any of them now as
No.
teenagers. None of them. You would think that, the times that I sacrificed or was making their meals, staying at home with them when they were sick and,
Mhm.
transporting them from one place to the next place and all these play dates, like they would have all these wonderful memories, but they remember nothing,
Really.
nothing.
I don't remember much from my childhood either, but we also moved around a lot. So I kind of just
Yeah.
credit that to like, just a blur. My childhood was a blur.
Really?
Yeah.
So
when
where are you
people-
from?
The United States. I was born in Illinois. I was born in the Midwest.
What part of Illinois?
Champaign.
Is that like middle of the state?
Yeah, kind of near like where the University of Illinois is.
Okay, so like my mama lived in Percy, Illinois.
Okay, I know exactly
Do
where that's
you
at.
know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And her brother, my uncle, is a minister over there in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. I know where Percy is.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's so funny. So
Absolutely.
how many years did you guys live there?
Gosh, I was born there, and I think they were only there for a couple of years before they moved. And my dad is in commercial construction.
Okay.
So, I mean, we moved around a lot. So, I mean, every 2-3 years because he would supervise these projects.
Mhm.
And when the project is finished and wrapped up and handed over, the keys to the client, they'd say, okay, well, we're building a new project in Phoenix or Oklahoma City or Richmond or DC.
You've lived in all those
places,
now.
plus probably
Wow.
5 or 6 more.
What was that like growing up and going to a different school every couple of
It
years?
sucked.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I definitely don't talk about it in therapy.
This is therapy, right?
Yes,
Go
it
ahead.
is.
We're
It can
having
be.
coffee talk.
Yes, coffee talk.
So,
I mean,
yeah, what was
girl
that
talk.
like? Yeah,
I
girl
mean,
talk.
This is great also because people never ask me stuff. It's
Oh,
always
really?
I don't want to say it's one-sided. I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I mean, like, usually people get in there and they talk about themselves, which is the purpose.
Yeah.
But it's nice to it go 2 ways.
Good.
So this is great. I love this.
I love hearing the story behind anybody and
Yes.
where they're at today and how they got here. I think
Wow,
that's
CoCo, that's
fascinating.
why I do this.
Good.
That exact motto.
Good. Well, cough it up. Spill that tea.
All right, bet. Let's go. It sucked a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm a very social person, I get attached to people easily.
Mm.
So it got to the point where we'd move to a new state and I'd say, not this time. I'm not going to get attached. I'm not going to get
Oh, wow.
super hyper fixated on my friends and environment because in 2 years I'm gone. And yeah,
Were you
it's
able to
done
do
for a
that
little
though?
bit. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So do you have are you still connected to any of these kids that you met along that path, that
I
journey?
think I follow some I think the farthest back I go is I'm trying to remember which state was first. Phoenix was before Oklahoma. Yeah, Arizona was before Oklahoma. I'm connected on Instagram and Facebook with a few
Yeah.
people, but in terms of talking on a semi-regular basis, none of them. I mean,
Really?
I
Yeah.
mean, again, I'm friends with a lot of them on social media and
Mhm.
Instagram and stuff, but in terms of someone that I talk to on a maybe even once a month, once every other month basis,
Mhm.
none.
So, like, what brought you here? Like, how many years have you even been in
I've
Georgia?
been in Georgia for 10 years.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is the longest stretch that I'd ever lived in one state. I graduated high school in DC,
Mhm.
and then we moved down here, and I started going to college down here, and I told my parents, I was like, okay, now that I'm going to college down here, if
Mhm.
you guys move again, I'm not going. I'm going to
Mhm.
stay here. I'll figure it out.
Wow. Okay.
And luckily they have not moved. This
Oh,
is,
that's cool.
I think my dad also was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done doing
Yeah.
this. I've served my time. My family's lived in 10 different states. I'm ready
Mhm.
to settle.
Mhm.
And the company was like, we respect it. So they're here until they probably retire. And then they'll probably buy, they'll probably go to Florida or something, retire people things. So yeah, I've been here for 10 years since 2014. High school reunion, 10 years is this year.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't think I'm going.
What?
I can't go.
Why can't you go?
I mean, I could go.
You're a social guy. You need to
I
go.
know. I really do want to go.
Yeah, there's probably some really interesting connections
I
that's
know.
at this level of life that you're in now versus the younger you,
I'd like to
you
go, but
know?
then like my wife was like, I want to go too. And it's like, I'd love to bring you, but it's in DC. So we're either going to drive up to DC
Yeah.
or we're going to have to buy plane tickets and fly up to DC, rent a car if we fly.
And when is it?
It's like a month from today, I think.
Okay.
It's like October 20th or 19th
Okay.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at a weird time
And it's
because
election
then
year and
yeah, it's
I don't know if
election
you
and
want
then
to.
the next week we're having I love Halloween parties. So
Oh
we're having a
yeah.
Halloween party and then the week after that I'm going to Las Vegas because I do that every year. So I mean, I don't know, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
I've been hyping it up to myself. I'm like, I can't wait to go to my high school, whenever it is. And then I finally got the invite, and it's like, oh
Oh,
man, I really can't, but I could go.
you could
I could
go.
go and just say screw it.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't
Something
know.
amazing may happen
You
out of
never
that,
know. Yeah,
just that connection and seeing where other people are in their
I
lives.
love it.
Yeah.
I love doing
I'd
it.
do it.
Okay, I'll take that to heart. I might go. But yeah, I mean, it was rough for a while, but then it did get me. I mean, I would not be as social as I am if I
Yeah.
didn't have to restart every
Oh, I bet.
few years.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you can throw me into a room of strangers, and within 5 minutes, I'm going to be best friends with one or two of them,
That's so funny.
like best friends.
I feel like my friends say the same thing about me too.
Really,
And they're like, you collect people wherever you go.
that is such a good way of putting it.
I don't do it
Wow.
intentionally, but I do. Yeah. It is weird. It's definitely a pattern. I wonder why that is.
I
Interesting.
don't know. I mean, do you get attached to people?
I don't want to say I get attached to people, but I love connection and like I said, hearing more
Mhm.
about what made them who they are today and then also regardless if I even agree with anything they have to say in that
Oh
conversation,
yeah,
I just want to understand their story of why they're even saying those words, whether I
right.
agree or not. So
Yes,
I like that.
I
I'm
agree.
weird. I'm a little
No,
weird.
that's
I'm
exactly
a bit of a
Coco.
dork.
That is
I'm sorry.
exactly why I do this.
Yeah.
Like all of that you just said. I mean,
Okay.
I did
Cool.
an episode a few months ago with Ike Reichard. He's the
Who's that?
CEO of Must Ministries.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm familiar with that.
It was amazing, amazing organization, amazing person. And he said in the episode, and I want to put this on a t-shirt and credit him,
Ooh, what
but
do you
he
say?
said, the universe isn't held together by atoms, it's held together by stories.
Ooh,
And I said,
okay.
wow, that is something I need to write down.
Yes.
And I think that's so true
I like that a lot.
because everyone's got a story. And that's the
Everyone.
whole man,
It's the
everything
meat
comes
and
full circle.
potatoes, right?
Yes, everything comes full circle. This is
Mhm.
exactly why I do this is everybody's got a story.
Mhm.
Not everybody gets the chance to tell it.
That's yeah.
And I
Or
want to be that place where people can tell it.
yeah, or they're comfortable enough to tell it
Yeah.
and share it and open up
Correct.
about it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some good stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. I
Such a
like
good
it.
time.
I
Okay.
know, right? You're
Yeah.
good at this.
Am I?
You'd be good at this on your own too.
Oh,
I
let
mean,
me tell you. Can I tell you
yes,
something? I'm going to
please.
tell you guys something.
Yeah.
Why I am shaking to the bones.
Are you still shaking?
I'm a little shaky. Yeah, I'm nervous. And this is it. Okay. This is the real. I'm a genuine person. And so I'm going to get down and share some vulnerable moments
Yes,
here.
please be.
So as a child, I had speech lessons for 4.5 years.
Okay.
From kindergarten to fourth grade. I would spend a couple times a week with my speech therapist to learn how to speak because I grew up in Florida in Fort Walton Beach. Well, I lived there until my teens. And there's lizards, right? It's humid environment. There's always lizards in the room.
I love the
And
lizards.
let me reenact what I used to sound like. I would say,
Okay.
oh my da 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 my boom. That's how I would talk. And that was, oh my God, there's a lizard in my
the
room.
Yeah.
And I would say, oh my God, I think I'm gonna be sick. And oh my God, I think I'm gonna be sick. And I would say, my name is Toto. Like I literally had such a crazy speech problem. And so for years, I would practice with my speech therapist, rolling my R's and trying to pronounce words accurately. And so I think that's why I go to writing as well, because for me, I can say everything I want to say without having to worry about how I'm saying it and if I'm pronouncing it correctly using the words I want to use. So for that reason, I choose not to use certain words because I'm afraid someone's going to laugh and I'm going to mispronounce it. I'm real. Like that's what I think
Does it
about.
ever come out still?
It does sometimes when I'm really sleepy and I get lazy with my tongue, my lips, my mouth, then I will mess up and I'll say wold or purple or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's weird. I am a preacher's kid, so I grew up kind of being shoved up onto the stage like most preachers' kids are, but I would sing. So I never had to really speak. And singing was different for me. I was able to slowly pronounce the words and sing. And so, yes, getting behind a microphone and having this recorded so people can come back and look and see what I have to say like over and over and over and over again is terrifying. That's my story about that.
But what's great is that people on the flip side of it will hear what you're all about. Because there's probably dozens of people out there that, like me, I mean, I'm going to assume because it was such a blur when I did this, but I posted on the Facebook groups and that's how we got connected, right?
Yes, yes.
I only ask right because my DMs got so flooded.
That's
and
awesome.
It was great for sure. But it got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I don't even know if I could do it with all these people. Because
really?
I've got so many. Oh God,
Good
so
for you,
and it is
That's
great.
awesome.
I know it's a great problem to have. It's a great problem to have to all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm so backed up that if I don't release 2 a week, which is what I'm doing now, Tuesdays and Fridays, if I don't release 2 a week, these will be pre-recorded out till February.
What?
And it's like, oh my God. And even then, like I was looking at a schedule last night before I went out. Or no, I'm pretty sure I showed somebody while we were out because they were like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, I'm recording at 10 a.m. And they're like, oh,
what are you doing here?
You need to go home. Yeah. They said, you need to go home. I was like, nah, I'm not going home till the boys go home. I can't go home first.
I'm not a quitter.
I'm not a quitter. Exactly. And I showed them the schedule that I have like for recording dates. And they're like, holy shit.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah.
You're doing it though.
I am. I'm trying. I'm trying to figure it out.
How long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing this format of the show where I'm interviewing folks for, say, 9 months, but I've been doing the show itself for, God, like 6 or 7 years.
What? Like just by yourself?
So I've gone through phases. So this podcast actually originated and it was all about movies and TV shows because I love movies and TV. Oh God, I'm a movie freak.
Oh, I'm a little bit of a movie freak. I'm more of a book freak, but movie freak.
Movie freak right here.
What is your like thing? What do you
all
love?
Of them.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not classics as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. We'll define classics. Whoa, are we talking like 1940s classics?
Well, yeah. I mean, I grew up watching some of those when I would go stay with my grandparents and some of those classics, or like even the shows like I Love Lucy, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I grew up I'm a daddy's girl. And it's funny because I have 4 brothers and I'm the only girl, but he was like, our love language, I think, was to go see these crazy action-packed movies like
I love that.
Rambo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, and so still to this day, like it does not entertain me unless there's a little bit of violence. Is that
Yeah.
bad?
No, not at all. I mean, it's also part of like, and maybe this is a deeper conversation, but I mean, what with the attention span that people have
Yeah.
nowadays of like, because we can get instant gratification at all times by
Mhm.
anything. With movies, if I'm not hooked within 20 minutes, it's gone. I'm out.
Okay, now I am like that as well, but even more so with books.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to know, I don't want to be able to guess and get it right about
Yeah.
how that story is going to be
Yeah.
told.
Yeah. I want there to be a
Like,
twist or two.
I want
Yeah.
some drama, some action, maybe some violence.
And you know,
Yeah.
my friends will say that I'm too hard on movies now too,
Really?
because I've seen so many
Yeah.
movies that I know the formulas now.
See, you just have standards. That's the difference.
Well, I
And
mean,
they don't. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen probably over 2,000 movies in my
Oh
lifetime.
my gosh.
But
So what's your main thing though? Like, what's your favorite?
my favorite movie is an
Yes.
easy answer.
What is that?
It's Jurassic Park,
Ooh,
the original Jurassic Park from
oh,
1997.
I can relate. Okay, let's pause that for a second.
Yeah.
I want to tell you this really funny story.
Please.
Maybe isn't that funny. I will never forget when I went and saw the very first Jurassic Park
In the theater?
Yes, and I
God,
think my now
wish.
husband was my boyfriend when we went to go see that movie.
Okay.
Okay. And you know that scene where I think it's the young girl, the little blonde girl, and she's it's either her or the other blonde tall girl
Yeah.
is dangling from the ceiling.
Yes. And there's the velociraptors on the
yes,
ground and
and
they're jumping up and trying to get her.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will never ever forget because I was sitting at the very edge of the aisle
Yeah.
of the theater. And in that scene, I, along with everybody else, lifts up their legs
Yeah.
as she's being
Oh,
pulled
yeah.
up at the last second so she doesn't get eaten. I mean, that was just like an impactful moment in my mind.
I am such a little nerd. Anytime that movie gets re-released in theaters for like an
Yes.
anniversary or something, I always go because I just
Yes.
imagine what it was like in 97 or 96, whichever year it came out, to see that for the
Mhm.
first time in the theaters.
Mhm.
I mean, and the technology still holds up to
So,
this day. If you go
right?
back and watch it, the special effects look better than some movies
I
that come out
know.
today.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think there's a
What's
lot of
up?
movie studios that just are trying to pump shit out and try to make a
Ah.
profit.
Yes,
But
with the exception of Avatar.
I like those.
I'm very pro Avatar.
I am pro Avatar also. I am an
Yes.
Avatar defender.
Yes, I am as
People
well.
are like, they're so bad. But I'm like, no, they're not.
What are you talking about? I
Ah.
would throw my drink in their face if they said that to me.
Would you?
Yes, that's just wrong. So much work and effort, not only with the producers, the storyline, the actors, the dedication. Have you ever seen the videos that they do
Oh,
behind
absolutely.
the scenes of
Yeah.
creating that?
Absolutely.
What the what?
The manpower,
Wow.
the hours, the time that it takes to do it.
It's scary. Could
It
you imagine
is.
being in charge of all that?
No,
Uh-uh.
not
No,
at
no.
all.
No, thank you.
No, I
But I
won't do
will
that.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, and then, okay, so Rocky movies.
Yes.
I grew up watching Rocky
Yeah.
movies. They were amazing.
Yeah.
I did kind of brainwash my kids to get into the Avengers
Oh yeah.
and that whole line of movies. That was like the best mommy kid moment, I
That's
guess.
a
Mommy
great-
daughter,
yeah.
mommy son moment is when they started enjoying them because I
Yeah.
definitely pushed for it.
Yeah.
And now they are super passionate about it, which I love.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Good
I've
times.
spent the last 2 weeks. So I go through these phases because there's a lot of movies that I love, but there's a lot of classics I haven't seen.
Oh,
Like I haven't seen a lot of really iconic movies,
Like
like
what?
ones that come out.
Casablanca.
Haven't
Was
seen
it
it.
Blanca? Casablanca?
Whatever it
Blanca?
is, yes, I have not seen
You
it.
haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen The Godfather. I haven't
Oh,
seen.
You
I
need to
know,
see The
I know.
Godfather.
In fact, that's next
Mwah.
because I've spent I got this random inclination a few weeks ago. I was like, I'm going to watch all of the Jaws movies. I've seen the first Jaws, of course. I've always seen the first Jaws, classic. But 2, 3, and 4, I was like, I heard they're okay. But I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm a
Oh.
completionist, so I can't just see the first one
You
and not see
cannot.
the other ones. So I watched them all.
Good
And
for
they're
you.
good. They're good. Some better than others. In fact, it gets worse as it goes down the list.
It
One is
does
great.
a little
2 is pretty
bit.
good. 3 is
Yeah.
okay. And 4 is just like, why'd they do it?
Yeah, I made my kids watch it not too long ago.
Really?
All of them.
That's
Mhm.
okay. That's great. I love that. And then
I'm a good parent.
last week, right? This shows also how much people think, oh my God, you're so busy with all the stuff you're doing. Yes, but when I tell you that last week I watched all of the Alien movies
Oh, yes.
because I saw the new
forgot
one in
about them.
theaters.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
bet it's amazing.
And it was like
Mm,
a lot of those Alien movies are like action movies, but this
yes.
one is like pure horror.
Is it
It's like the first
now?
movie where it's very suspenseful, very
Oh, the first is the best.
oh, it's so good.
Right?
This
So
one is one of the best ones since the first, I think.
who's I don't even know who's in it.
I don't know their names. They're
Okay.
very
Sigourney Weaver, is she making
she is
an
not a part of
appearance?
it.
Okay.
She's not a part of this
That's
one.
sad.
I know, right?
Why?
I wouldn't be surprised if she came back and did more in the future.
Wasn't Winona Ryder in like one, maybe
She
the
might
first or
have been.
second?
She might have
I
been.
feel like she was in
But
it.
the new one was fantastic. And then I saw
Good.
that. So and before I had seen the first one, the second one, but 3, 4, the prequels, like Prometheus, I hadn't seen any of them.
Yeah.
So I went and watched all
It's
of
been
them in
years.
chronological order. And then I was like, screw it. I saw the Alien movies. Now I got to go watch Predator.
Yeah. Oh, what?
I had
You
not
hadn't seen
I
Predator.
hadn't seen any of them.
Oh, man.
So I watched all of those.
Buddy.
And I just finished with the last Predator yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're so fun.
Did you watch the very first Predator?
Oh yeah, with
Okay,
Arnold
good for you.
Schwarzenegger,
Yes.
Carl Weathers.
So he had this time frame, I guess that's probably like mid 80s to early 90s or mid 90s, where Arnold, he was putting out some, I think they were really good movies, but there's this one that I watched over and over again, and I don't even remember the name of it. I want to know if you've seen it though. And he is some sort of army, of course, an army guy.
Of course.
And his daughter, which is played by Melissa, what's her name? She was on that series where she was a witch, that TV series. Her name's Melissa.
McCarthy?
Nope. Definitely not that.
Who's McCarthy? Melissa.
That is the woman who was
the big woman? The comedian?
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, she played Ursula in the new Little Mermaid movie.
Yes. Okay, so it wasn't her, but Melissa.
Is it Commando? Is that the movie?
Yes.
Commando?
Oh my God. I watched
I've seen
it over and
Commando.
over and over again. It was one
I've
of my
seen Commando.
favorite movies. Love that. Yeah, that was a classic. And then, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think of what else back then. Yeah, those are some good movies.
And then Rambo.
Yes.
So maybe 9 months ago or so, when the most recent Creed movie came out, or probably a year ago or so at this point, I watched all the Rambos because I only had seen the first Rambo. I know.
Okay.
So I watched them all in chronological order.
Thought you were a movie guy.
And I know, right? That's what everyone says when I'm like, oh, I haven't seen The Godfather. They're like, that is the movie. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry. I only have enough time in the world. But now that I watched all of the Aliens, the Predators, the Jaws, I was like, okay, now I need to watch like all the Terminators.
Yes,
again, I've seen the first
definitely.
Terminator, but I haven't seen any of the other ones. And I was like, that's the next one. But then I looked them up and you can't stream any of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to buy them.
Oh, that's not fun.
Yeah, or
That's
rent
not
them.
cool.
And I'm like, I'll wait for them to stream and then I'll watch
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
So I think next I'm going to do The Godfather.
I haven't seen the latest Terminator.
Okay.
I will admit to that.
Okay.
I'm
Wow.
not perfect, so
Wow.
apparently.
This is insane. You're doing so good. I'm surprised you're so scared right now. Are
Really?
you still shaking?
I'm a little bit better.
Good.
I think talking about movies.
Yes, it gets you
and
comfy.
They make me comfy.
The walls are coming down.
The walls are coming down, just like Kings of Leon song. The walls
Yes.
are coming down.
Yes.
You know that song? What
Absolutely.
kind of music do you listen to?
All of it.
All
I mean,
of
just
it?
like movies, I'm like, I'll watch or listen to anything except for like
Okay.
screamo death metal. That's not my
Yeah,
thing.
I can't
I need
get
to
into
actually
that.
like be able to like bop my head.
Okay.
But my main two favorite genres are the two most opposite genres, and
What's
it's hip hop and country. I love country.
Okay, so I'm a little bit
Okay.
more hip hop, pop,
You-
and stuff like that, and then a little bit of praise and worship.
Praise and worship. Okay.
Tie it together.
Yes. Yes. You have to.
And I've listened to some country. In fact, I'm going to see Lainey Wilson.
Are you?
Yes, in October. It was a gift from my baby brother.
Wow. What a great
Christmas.
gift.
I know. He knows I'm a fan. Well, here's a weird story. So I went with my old neighbor from Missouri. She flew out to Boise, Idaho and met me there
Okay.
to go see, I think was it Luke Combs?
Okay.
Okay. So Lainey Wilson was opening one of his
Wow.
openers. And we flew out to see Lainey, though. I mean, she's like my girl.
Yeah.
In fact, I wrote a book kind of based off of one of her songs, one of these children's books based off of her song. And so that's the whole reason we're going there. Love Boise, Idaho. Have you ever been there?
I have.
Oh, it's so peaceful
Yeah.
and
It's a
clean.
different kind of place.
It is a different kind of place. So we walked that day. So we were there for 2 days. Okay. And the first day we walked, they have this beautiful area around whatever river it is that's over there. I don't know. Gorgeous environment. So we get, she's very into fitness.
Mhm.
So I'm just keeping up. Like, and I'm huffing and puffing the entire time. And I'm not a quitter. So I don't want to say, hey, I'm tired at this point. Eventually we walked to this place that we're going to eat lunch. And I ate. Okay. And I drank plenty of water all day long. Anyways, long story short, it ends up being when we go to the concert, which was outside at their college football stadium, it's like 90 some odd degrees outside
Jesus.
and in the sun.
Yeah.
The sun's starting to go
And that
down.
Midwest sun too
Yes.
is different than like the
Is it?
southern sun. Oh
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. The humidity in the Midwest is
Mhm.
far and away. This might be a hot, controversial take, but it is far hotter up there than it is down here. I mean, the humidity up there is so thick, it's like
Think so.
disgusting.
We're in Georgia though. I thought Georgia was worse. Like
Oh
the
no,
humidity here.
girl. Like
Okay.
summers in Illinois. I mean, people always bitch about like the winter in the Midwest, but the
Yeah.
summers in Illinois are hot.
Yeah, kind of like the armpit of America. Have you ever heard them say
Yes,
that?
absolutely.
Like that area?
Yeah, 100%.
So we go there to the concert. I'm so excited, pumped to see my girl Lainey, perform.
Sure.
And so her and I, we wait in line. We're waiting there, and as she's getting ready to perform, because there was one other person that went on the stage before then, we're standing up. I'm so excited, and guess what? This girl decides to do. I decided to freaking pass out, and I pass out. My best friend that was with me is thankfully a nurse.
Okay.
And she's like, CoCo, CoCo, CoCo. And she pushes me up against the wall and I just slide down against the wall. And here's the saddest thing about this all is Lainey only sang like 3 songs and they
Yeah.
were all the kind of like shorter versions of the songs.
Yeah.
Blended them together. I missed the entire thing.
No.
The entire performance.
Oh God, no.
That was the reason I went to go watch her and I missed it all. And so I'm slowly coming out of it as she's finishing up and my friend Amanda went and she goes and gets me some like caramel popcorn. She's like, I think your blood sugar is really, really low and you're overheated.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
she's like shoving popcorn in my mouth. I'm sure I looked like a hot mess. There's probably video floating around of me. If no one took video, I'll be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, it was not a good day, not a good night, not a good moment. It was a great day, just not a good moment.
Sure.
Now I'm choosing to laugh about it.
Good.
So fun. But I'm really excited. I get to go see Lainey Wilson.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pumped. So
yeah, that'll be a great time.
Right. So what other artists? What are your favorite?
Oh man, I love Luke Combs. I do like him a lot. Of course, I like, yeah, right. I mean, I like Lainey as well. She's great. Although, like, I have this theory that, like, maybe this is very maybe this is sexist, okay?
Okay. We'll tell you.
As a man, I don't know if I would listen to Lainey Wilson by myself in my car by myself.
Okay, that's fine.
Or like I wouldn't listen to Carrie Underwood is amazing. But like I wouldn't listen to like Miranda Lambert or like and I wouldn't listen to like Meghan Trainor. I'm not going to listen to a girl artist by myself alone.
What's that say about you?
I don't know.
We need to open that up.
I don't know.
I have a cool story about who was the other person? Carrie Underwood.
Okay.
I had a really cool moment that I cried about.
Okay.
Just
Did
again,
Jesus
I'm very
take the
vulnerable.
wheel?
Yes, I sobbed like a baby. Okay, so here's the thing. So my brother, one of my other brothers, again 4, so it's confusing, but he's my second youngest brother. His name's Ben, and him and his wife live just south of Nashville.
Okay.
And they go to the same church that Carrie Underwood goes to.
Okay.
Okay, I cannot tell you the name of it. I'm sorry. There's multiple, like they have sister churches too.
Yeah,
so
sure.
But he's in charge of the music and running it for his church now. That didn't happen at this
awesome.
time,
Good for
but
him.
that's where he's at now. And it was last year, I believe, that he told us that he was going to be performing because it was the church's like anniversary and they were going to go to the Ryman studio there in Nashville.
Yeah, sure.
Downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
And that the church was going to have an event there and they're all allowed X amount of tickets,
Sure.
right? And so I said, absolutely, I want to be there. So my baby brother, Ben, Oh my gosh. I was so proud of him. He actually opened up a song, what is that song? How Great Thou Art,
Mhm.
with Carrie Underwood singing. It was just the two of them on stage
Wow,
and
that's
he's playing the
incredible.
keys for her. I cried way more than my stepmom cried. Like I bawled like a baby because I was like,
That's so cool.
there's nothing greater than seeing one of my brothers in their moment, in their element, and he was shining. It was the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever.
And also alongside Carrie Underwood.
I mean, she was good too, but I was so proud because to me, he was never like a big music guy.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I just didn't get to see him because I'm like way older than him. And so I'm like, he can play the guitar, he can play the piano, obviously. And then he loves handling all technology, music equipment, things like that too. That's his jam. And I get to see him do that. The Ryman.
That's
Like, what the
amazing. Good
what?
for him. That's
Right.
incredible.
Yeah, I was sobbing.
Really? Where in where outside of Nashville do they live? Do you know the town?
Franklin.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
My wife is from Nashville.
Cute
Well, a
town.
town outside of Nashville.
Yeah, I'm going there on Sunday,
Really?
tomorrow. Oh my
Nashville?
gosh, I need to pack. Yes.
You do need a pack.
I'm going there tomorrow. They have this conference called Raise, and it's like a fundraising nonprofit type conference for a bunch of nonprofits to join and learn more about just gaining skills and knowledge. And
Mhm.
so checking in tomorrow afternoon, and then it's all day Monday and Tuesday. So I'm hoping to have dinner with my brother and his wife. Fun fact, she actually works on the David Ramsey team and she has for
Really?
many years.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he in Nashville?
I think so. I guess so.
Huh. That's really cool.
I should know more, but
That's really
and she's a
awesome.
singer too. Like that was her jam. So she sang on the choir that same event for the How Great Thou Art. They did another song with Carrie Underwood, and then
Really
she had the
cool.
choir backing them up, a real small choir. And my sister-in-law, she can kill it. She sings and leads on the praise and worship there all the
That's
time.
amazing.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. And they're in the right
Yes.
town to do it.
I know,
I mean,
right?
my wife's dad, my father-in-law, he was a studio mixer
What?
in like the height of like goated country music. Like he was the studio engineer. So he's worked with all the greats like Johnny Cash and
What?
Willie Nelson
Oh,
and
that's so cool.
all of those people. Reba McEntire. He knows them. He knew them all on a first name basis.
Wow.
It was really cool.
That is awesome.
But he just talks about it like it's work. He's like, yeah, Johnny
Huh.
would come in 20 minutes late always. And I'd be like, you're talking about Johnny Cash? And he's like, yeah, it's just Johnny. I'm like, to me, I'm like, that's Johnny
funny.
Cash. He's like one of the most famous,
Right?
and he's like,
He's just
it's
a
just a
man.
coworker. He's just a
Yeah.
man. Exactly. He's just a regular dude.
He puts on pants just like I do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's cool. I like that. Well, and my brother Ben that's there now, so he actually works for some Christian radio station.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he travels a little bit, and then he gets the artist on the radio at different places around the world, I guess.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So he knows some people. I mean,
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Can you believe that we've gone in 40 minutes?
Have we really? Oh
and
my
we
gosh.
haven't even touched on what you do.
I can't believe that because my name is CoCo Collier and I'm a multi-passionate person and I love to talk. So,
And you said
yeah.
something earlier that caught my eye because there's something, I have a goal by the end of the year and I really want to have the first draft written
Yes.
of a children's book that I want to write.
Oh, you should do it.
I've got the idea. I've got it
Yes.
all ready. I just
Yes.
need to write it.
Do it.
And I
Do-
want to so bad.
Yeah.
And
Publish that baby. Like, why not? What does it hurt? If you take the time and you're going to write this, right? And let's say that you choose to self-publish it or you don't, regardless. Like, what does it hurt? Like, so what? Like, it could go amazing and you could become a bestseller.
which would be so
you
cool.
won't know unless you do it.
Yeah.
So like, just do it.
Yeah.
And Nike.
I feel like I've got this
Go
great
Nike.
idea that like has legs.
You want to share it or know?
Maybe not on here.
Okay.
Because I don't want
okay.
someone to take it. But afterwards I can tell you.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna need it. I mean, I'm gonna need it illustrated. I'm gonna need
Oh yeah,
the whole
I can
thing.
help you.
I would
help.
love
I can't illustrate, but I can hook you up with the right people.
that would be amazing
process.
because I'm gonna need the help.
Let me tell you, through creating my children's books, I definitely had some fails when it came to using Fiverr artists
Okay.
to illustrate.
I was wondering about that.
Yes. Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend.
Well, there are some really great artists. And
Sure.
I do recommend Fiverr because even though they have their higher fees, they protect you.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
true.
first two illustrators I've used, they did me wrong. Okay. Let me just tell you. And so what the Fiverr people can do, and I'm not one, like if I had a bad experience, I don't complain about it typically. If
Yeah.
it's
You
like,
just move on.
I don't want to do anybody like in their business. I don't want to do them wrong. But this, I didn't, and I didn't say anything about their business, but I did talk to Fiverr and they're like, we'll look into it. We can see all your messages and communication and how you tagged and asked for XYZ from each illustration. And so that's all it took. And then I was refunded my money. So they kind of, even though you pay fees, they're also protecting you so that unfortunately I was out of the time and energy that I used to help make that happen and like trying to get to my end goal, which was an illustration for my books.
Mm-hmm.
But I got my money back, which allowed me to get the right illustrator,
I
which is
mean,
still worth it.
I don't want to pry too much into the business, but I
Yeah.
mean,
What
I
do you
don't
want to
even know
know?
what it costs to
Mm.
get a book like
A lot
that
of money.
illustrated. A lot of money.
For the right illustrator. So it
Right.
depends. Like, there's some of those children's books that are super popular and it looks like I drew it. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
a terrible
Right.
artist. And it's very basic and plain,
Yeah.
but that's their thing.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to visualize what it is that you want out of this book and what you feel like it's going to need. Is it going to need one of these highly detailed, strong, bold, variety of colors, very descriptive illustration? Or is it okay with like, is it an ABC book and it just needs some letters? Like that's going to be a price difference between the
Yeah.
two.
I feel like it's not going to be one of those where you open up a page and it's just full color from the top of the page to the bottom of the
Yeah.
page. I envision it having like, the words at the top and like almost like a white space. And then like
Okay.
the color kind of comes down. And then maybe on the next page, the words are at the bottom and then the
Yeah.
color is,
I can tell you a range, like
Yeah,
just to give you
hit
an
me.
idea. So if you go on to Amazon.com and you search up the author CoCo Collier,
Okay.
you can pull up the yoga dog. Okay. So for that illustration, I chose this guy and he was great. He was a wonderful illustrator, but he was around $700.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you go on to any of my social media accounts under CoCo Collier, you can find, if you scroll down, you can probably see some of the videos that I've created or even social posts that has an image of the illustration for my Lainey book. It's called Lainey. That's the book that I wrote after listening
Oh, I
to
love that.
one of Lainey Wilson's songs, that Wild Flowers and Wild Horses. I came home and wrote this story, this children's story based off of kind of that song and what the Teeters girl from Yellowstone,
Yeah.
like what was she like as a child? Oh my gosh, she was probably like a handful, right? And that's the story I wrote called Lainey. And so if you scroll down, you can see the illustrations that I've shared from the artist for that artist, and her illustrations were close to $3,000. Okay. So it's an investment. All right. Investment of money and also time. And then you will get to see that there's a difference between, okay, you have the illustrations and then there's the art of putting the book together and laying the text right. That's a whole nother jam. So I did the one for the yoga dog, which I think I need to improve on that. Like I should probably pay for somebody to just make it flow a little bit better with the text and the fonts and things like that.
Sure.
I think it's called like typography,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I chose for that reason with the Lainey book to hire somebody through Fiverr that only does that, the typography and blending the book together. The other thing you really have to get good at is creating a storyboard. So the artist, the illustrator knows like what it is you are visualizing. Because like I said, it could look it could be very, very different than what they have in their head. And so you have to, and I use Canva for that.
Oh, yeah.
And because
Love
I am not
Canva.
an artist. Also, this last time with the Lainey book, I used my daughter, my oldest, she's an artist, and I had her create the storybook for me, or I'm sorry, the storyboard, so that I could show my illustrator what I envision and what page it lies on, et cetera, et cetera.
She accept freelance work.
My daughter,
Yeah,
she probably would. She's got to go to college, so she needs money. But all I needed was just better pencil drawings to put was in my mind here, and I kind of guided her, and that's how we made it happen. Because if I did it would be stick figure. And in fact, I think that's what it looks like for the one for the yoga dog. It was like stick figures.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I
Yeah.
need to learn some skills.
That's okay. You've got plenty.
I've got plenty. Thank you. So yeah, so then you do that, man, but it can be quite an investment and you have to be willing to just go with it. Just do it because you will never know unless you do it. And you might always be guessing and second guessing yourself or thinking, man, I should have just, why didn't I do that? I had the time. I don't have kids yet. It was before I had kids and I had this little bucket of money over here. Why did I want to just put myself out there? You do have to be vulnerable, which can be scary.
Yeah.
But you'll never know unless you do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I like it. You're the second person this week that I've talked to in 2 days in a row and have encouraged to write a book. The other girl I had a meeting with yesterday was talking about writing one too.
Yeah.
Like, why are you not doing it?
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Just do it.
I've got a pretty decent story. And I think it would be good.
You should do it.
I think it would be good.
Yeah. Good for you.
Thanks. And I think the reading age looks like similar to what you've got Yoga Dog as.
Yeah.
I want to write it for that like first grade, second grade kind of range, like 5, 6, 7 ish. So, I mean, the sentences and structure isn't going to be super duper complex, but complex enough.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I like it. You should do it.
So besides being an author,
yes,
what do you do? Tell me your story.
Yeah, I do. I'm a weirdo. I will say that. I lean into it though. I have some wild tools in my toolbox and I've always kind of visioned myself back when I worked at different law firms, kind of a hybrid employee. I feel like there's this analytical side of me and then there's this kind of creative side. I feel like I use maybe both sides of my brain. Those are my words here. But so I do a lot. Gosh, there's such a long story here. So a lot of places put me to where I am at now. I didn't know that I needed to go to those places and have those hardships and that journey until I'm here now, which is really wild to think about. So yes, I do have a nonprofit called Lumina of Hope Foundation. I started that I guess it was February. End of February is when I made that decision. I will tell you this. I absolutely did not want to start a nonprofit. Really, like seriously, I fought it very hard. So what happened was back in December, I started having, anytime I would leave my house, I would run into some random woman and they would open up to me over a 45-minute to an hour-long conversation. This is just leaving my house. I would bump into somebody in a store. And they would start sharing with me about a time in their life where they lost all hope, where they were kind of caught in this darkness. So that started happening back in December. Okay. And I felt like God just kept making these interactions happen. And it got to this point where my kids were so used to, oh, mom's talking to some stranger again. They were just so random. And the ages of these women would range from their 20s to, I think the last lady or one of the ladies was 81 years old.
Wow.
So all different walks of life, different seasons of life. But this common denominator was a time where they lost hope. And that is the saddest thing ever. And I could relate. That's the thing. I didn't want to relate, but I absolutely could relate to some of these moments. And so I kept having these interactions and it was kind of like I felt God was hitting me over the head and saying, pay attention. You've got to do something about this. Like, I'm going to keep these going. Cause I at this point, I reached where I said, it's almost exhausting. It's time consuming. And I almost didn't want to leave my house because I didn't know what was going to happen that day. And I didn't talk much. I just really, for whatever reason, they would say, hey, I have a back tattoo. Oh, I like your tattoo. It would open up this conversation that would lead to tell me about why this woman was going to go get a tattoo for her son that she lost at 17 to cancer. And it would be just randomness, like this 81-year-old lady that I met at Barnes and Nobles. We were both standing in front of this little desktop that was full of books of mindful kind of vision board things like that and journaling. And she just stands next to me and she was the cutest thing ever. And she's like, what do you think of all of this? And I remember I just had a vision board event at my house and I had for the first time opened it up to the public. And I said, actually, I'm a firm believer in speaking and believing what you want in your life and claiming it. It's the difference between being reactive versus proactive. Like reactive, you're just walking around with no real intent of vision for your life and letting life hit you left and right. And being proactive is, you know what? I'm going to speak these things not only over my life, but my children's lives and my friends' lives and my friends' businesses. And I'm going to claim that in the next 6 months, I'm going to reach XYZ, right? And there's something, and I'm telling this lady basically this. And I said, there's something about not only writing that down, but visualizing it. So in a magazine, cutting out like what a visual tool would be to help try to kind of manifest this. You know, you're
Mhm.
speaking and believing. You
Mhm.
know, it's the Bible talks a lot about the power that's in your tongue and your words that you say, but in other religious beliefs as well, there's there's a lot to that about what you say and how that is so important. So you got to be careful with what you say, and I'm a firm believer. So, anyways, this lady that I was talking to about that, she's like, "Well, it sounds like you know a lot about this." She's like, "Do you want to get a cup of coffee?" And so then an hour and a half later,
Yeah.
that there was that conversation. I had multiple, even when I would go on vacation, we did one cruise and I ended up staying on the cruise ship while my family went and did this little excursion. And I sat down and these two older women came sit next to me. And long story short, I got a burn mark on my right above my knee basically from this hour and a half conversation because I did not want to pull myself away to put more sunscreen on or get out of the sun. And I was so into that moment of hearing what these two women had to say about why they travel together and what some of the darkest, hardest times in their lives were. So they were happening to me left and right. And I felt like by maybe February, I went and did this one trip. This was the final trip that solidified why I would start Lumina of Hope. I went to a real estate conference. I'm not a real estate agent. That's one thing I'm not. Okay. But I went to the KW family reunion in Vegas in February with my bestie, Susan. And she had asked if she mentioned it. She was a little nervous about traveling. She didn't really ask me to go. I volunteered to go. But I'm like, she hadn't traveled in over 13 years on a plane. She was nervous about that. And I was like, well, I'll go with you. I was like, Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins were speaking at this event. I was like,
Mhm.
I love them. I'll go. Why not? And I said, I have my LLC. I was like, I can work from anywhere I have a consulting business and then I have my children's books. So I'm like, let's do it. And so I went to this KW family reunion and I think there was like maybe 10,000 people, a lot of people there. Okay. And I don't know if you've ever been in a room full of real estate agents, but the energy is magnificent because they are so eager they're just so, I don't know, they're eager to connect, which I think I love that. I love a good connection. And so they're super uber friendly. Okay. Everyone but one person I met there was like that. Okay. And this is the first day there. I met this woman and she said maybe two sentences to me and just kept giving me weird looks throughout the next couple of days. Very odd. And at this point, I've already told Susan kind of
Sure.
what I was thinking about starting this nonprofit where we provide these retreats, for women under certain circumstances, basically.
Mhm.
And and so I told Susan that while we were there. Well, on our last day, we go to lunch at this busy diner, and Susan, my roomie, is sitting across from me, and then this woman who was giving me these odd looks. Her roommate was having lunch with us. Okay. And so it's super noisy. We're enjoying our lunch. And then all of a sudden, the woman that kept giving me these odd looks comes and sits down next to me. And she never orders her lunch. She's like picking food off of her roomie's plate, and eating them here and there. And then she just slowly turns to me and she's like, "CoCo, can I tell you something?" And I'm like, at this point, oh man, I'm like, what is she going to say? It's going to be good, and I need to listen to it.
Mhm.
If there's anything, all these moments have taught me is like I need to just listen and not talk. And so I turned to her. I was like, of course. Like I was like, what's up? She said, I overheard what you were saying to Susan. And I'm like, what? Because you were talking about how you feel like you need to have these retreats for like mamas that are like maybe have a child that has disabilities or special needs, or these women who've lost either a child or a spouse, right? And so you need to do it, is what she says to me. And she goes, here's why. And I'm going to try not to get emotional here. So she says to me, here's why. And she says, if you would have come to this KW family reunion this time last year, you would have met me and a different version of me. She said, I was hitting rock bottom. She said, my roommate, she points to the lady across from her. She said, met me here for the first time. And we chose to stay together. We connected online. We wanted to save money. So we, shared a room together.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's her first time meeting me, and I'm drinking heavy, staying out till like 3:30 a.m. and bawling my eyes out. And she's basically, calming me down and pulling me off the ledge at this point. She said, I go home and I had really, really do hit rock bottom. And she said, I found myself at that night on my laptop and I had 2 tabs open. One tab was different ways that I could in my life. The other tab was mental institutions that she said I could check myself into, because to me, those were my only 2 solutions, only 2 ways to get out of whatever was happening with myself. She said, luckily, I didn't do anything that night. And the next day, my mom comes over and I asked her, I said, hey, do you think you can watch the kids? She had a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old at the time. She said, do you think you can watch the kids? I desperately need to get away for a couple of days. And my mom laughed, she said, and said, do you think I had the same opportunity when you and your brother were that age? No, you guys went everywhere with me. So her mama didn't really get it, which is sad. It breaks my heart. She said that night my husband came home and I told him where I was at. And he understood. He understood as much as he could understand. He's not in her shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But he was very thoughtful and he was listening to her. And she said, I wasn't able to get away. I did go find a therapist and I've been seeing them ever since. And I'm in a much better place than I am now. But let me tell you, CoCo, if there was an option to go to a retreat at the last minute, that's like you described to Susan, I would be there in a heartbeat. And so that was my quote unquote Oprah aha moment. And I get on the airplane that afternoon with Susan. We're flying back here to Atlanta. And I turned to her and I will never forget. I said, well, shoot a bear. I think I'm going to start a nonprofit. And for me, that there was a weight to that. I will just be really honest. There's a lot of reasons why I didn't want to do it. It's the unknown. And the thing is, and I don't know about you if this can relate to you at all, but when your body doesn't recognize a pattern, it perceives it as fear.
Mm.
I don't recognize anything about a nonprofit. I've never been in that world, even though my dad's a minister. Like that was his thing. I don't know any of the business side to it. I'm excellent in operations and I can start a business, but a nonprofit is a completely different cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And so it terrified me. And I felt like, do you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Were you into that? Okay,
Yeah.
so I was too, obviously. I love Go Dragons. So I love a good dragon story. Anyways, and so I felt like with every interaction that I would have with these women, God was telling me, bend the knee, CoCo, like submit, like you need to obey me and do this. And I'm like, no, like almost like a kid kicking her feet and screaming, I'm not going to do this. It sounds exhausting. I'm just gotten to a good place with my health. My consulting business is doing wonderful. Like, why would I add more things onto my plate? And he's like, I'm going to teach you a lesson here and I'm just going to ramp it up. And he takes like the dial on me and it's like it's like a magnet and he ramps it up. And then I just keep having more and more conversations with these random women left and right, until finally I bend a knee and I decide, okay, I'm going to obey you, God, and I'm going to do it. And it's like, once I made those words come out of my mouth, it still took me like 3 weeks to tell my husband that I think I'm going to start this nonprofit because I was terrified what he would say. Thankfully, he was very supportive of it. But once I made that conscious decision, right? Because I think I was terrified. I didn't know what the words to say, how to articulate it, what that looks like. And God only sees your heart. you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know the words and be able to say the words, but he's looking at your heart. It's kind of like Moses and lost in the wilderness for, whatever. He didn't speak the same language. Well, God's got the language. You just got to lean into it. And so once I made that decision, it's like the doors have been opening left and right. And so I'm so excited. I feel like I blinked overnight though, and we grew, which is why I didn't have a chance to really look into your podcast and watch the video until a couple of days ago, is because I just put it on the calendar. We've just been busy back and back, which is awesome. But we have we're 100% volunteer based. So the people that's on our team is fascinating because most of these women, I think majority of them have their own business, or like my VP, Erica, she is a nurse practitioner at the hospital around the corner. She too is a cancer survivor. She had it at the same time I did, just different types of cancer. But we've connected over that, and that's led her to be the VP. And so we have like a gala coming up that is November 16th. Okay, so I know you're kind of a movie guy, but are you big on Netflix?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you, I don't know, has your wife maybe made you watch Bridgerton?
I've not watched it, but
You have not.
I know a lot of it. Yeah.
You know a lot of it. Okay. So do you know like what era that is? The Bridgerton theme?
Kinda.
It's the Regency era.
Okay.
Okay. And so for us ladies, I will say we love the Bridgerton
Oh,
series.
for sure.
Okay?
Oh, I know.
We're big fans. Not only the style, the dress, the drama, and like their twist to it, but the music where they have the string, what do you call them? Like the string players?
Like quartet.
String quartet. And they'll take like Taylor Swift music, Miley Cyrus music, the Wrecking Ball, and they'll do it to just the strings. It's so fun, right?
Yeah.
So our gala to raise money for Lumina of Hope is November 16th here in downtown Kennesaw.
Okay.
And it's Bridgerton themed gala.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we're very pumped. But we have a committee of about 18 women that are united to make this happen, which is wild for me to think that these women who are super busy, most of them have children or their kids are grown, they're busy, right? But they're giving up their time to help make this gala a success. But you should come to it. Everybody that's listening, you need to come to it. So it's all to help raise money for these retreats. And it's at the Southern Museum in downtown Kennesaw.
Yep.
Have you been to it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I know
It's
downtown
so cool.
Kennesaw very well.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I'm really pumped about it. And here's why we're doing it, right? To raise money for these retreats. Well, why are you raising money, CoCo? Good question, Logan. It's because we want to provide scholarship opportunities for women. Our whole goal is to get the cost to attend a retreat down as to hopefully one day nothing, so that women that really need it can apply for a scholarship. On our website, luminaofhope.com, you can even nominate a coworker or friend for a scholarship. You can say, hey, I'm going to nominate Deborah, right? She's an awesome social worker. She has been giving it her all. She has a child that has a disability and she gives, right? But we want to bless her. We want to give her this opportunity to kind of rest, reset, and renew her strength, right? So they said, me and 10 of my coworkers, we're all going to put in, $50, and we wanted to go to her to help make her have that opportunity to go attend one of these retreats. And so that's what we're doing. And that is our goal. So we have a women's leadership retreat that's in LJ, Georgia, November 1st through 3rd. I know you're excited, right?
Yeah.
Women's retreat. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah. This is for any woman who is really kind of into business. I know just from my personal experience, we give, and there's not a lot of time that we take just for ourselves. Because if we're going on vacation, and you can share your perspective as a man. When you go on vacation, are you still thinking about your spouse's needs? Yes or no? Okay, so maybe that's a no.
No.
You're not? How do you pause there?
That's a great question. No.
No? Okay.
Well, it depends.
That's good. I think that's probably healthy that you're not.
Yeah.
I can't relate,
I'm not really
but
thinking about my own.
but I mean, so are you thinking about your spouse's needs? Or are you thinking about like what you're doing and enjoying out of that vacation, that experience?
God, that's a great question.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah,
So
I don't
don't
know. I don't
just be
know. I don't know
real.
how to answer.
Okay.
I don't know.
For me, myself, and I,
Yeah,
and for some other women, not every
yeah,
woman, I will say,
yeah,
when we're on vacation, even with just our spouse, we're still thinking about their needs when it comes
yeah.
to food, when it comes to activities and other things. Like we're still thinking about what we can do to make this experience good for them. When we're on vacation, I'm going to do quotations here. When we're on vacation with our family, it's really just the same normal life, but in a different, beautiful
Yeah, in
environment
a different
because
environment, yeah.
when you have kids, you're thinking about those kids' needs. And some of these resorts have, where they have the children's, those little facilities where they can entertain the kids. Well, let me tell you, as a mama, we're still worried about them. Oh, did they remember to put their sunscreen on?
Mhm,
Did they remember to put a life jacket on? Did they realize that Jimmy Joe cannot swim very well,
mhm,
or that they're terrified of jellyfish and
mhm,
will really freak out and have an asthma attack and stuff. So we're thinking about everyone else's needs.
mhm,
And so these retreats is an opportunity for women to actually think about themselves for once, to kind
mhm,
of rest and be spoiled. Because if you think about this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, if you have a child, I mean, parenting is hard enough. Okay. You'll know soon enough.
mhm,
Parenting is hard. And and there's enough of life challenges as it is. But if you throw in a situation where you have a child that has a disability, there's the extra needs as a caretaker. There is being 110% into that lifestyle and taking care of that child's needs.
mhm,
There's some financial strain, probably. There's educational things that you have to, they're hard. And so for some of these women, the last time they ever had an opportunity to just kind of breathe and reset on their own, there's a good chance it was 15 years prior before they
mhm,
were ever even in a serious relationship.
mhm,
And that is what that's why we want to do this. We want to give it back to these women. It's our time to serve them, to love on them, to bless on them. Like my team of volunteers, we want to go so that they don't even have to change the trash. Like if you go to a rental place, you still have to take your sheets and stuff, right?
yeah,
And put that.
yeah,
We don't want them to do that. So that's what we do. So anywho, we have our women's leadership retreat. It's in LJ, Georgia at the Lodge at Walnut Grove. Have you ever been to LJ?
I have been to LJ, yes.
Right. It's gorgeous.
Yes, very.
The only the only thing that they on their website, which is I think you can just Google like the Lodge at Walnut Grove, is beautiful videos of the property,
Sure.
aerial shots, the 3D renderings of the
Yeah,
inside
sure.
things, which is awesome. But it's all done during, I guess, the summertime.
Mhm,
They don't have any fall pictures up. And
mm,
fall in the Blue Ridge Mountains is absolutely
beautiful.
stunning.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's where the women's leadership retreat is. But it's cool. So yes, you have to pay to attend. But any money after the expenses have been taken care of, any money that's remaining is going into a bucket for scholarship opportunities for these women. So we've got our Bridgerton theme ball, November 16th at 6 p.m. And then we have this women's leadership retreat. And then in the spring, we have 2 retreats on our calendar, once for women who've lost their spouse. And then we have one that is for these mamas that have a child with disabilities.
Mhm.
And so super pumped about that to make that happen.
That's so
But
cool.
is it
So
cool?
inspiring.
It's wild,
It
right?
is
I
wild.
have a nonprofit. Who would have thought?
You never
Like,
would have thought
I
10
didn't want to
years
have
ago.
this.
10 years ago, you were like, this,
Right?
if I would have come back, if the ghost from Christmas Present would have been like, you're about to have a nonprofit and you're going to be organizing retreats and galas and stuff,
I know,
you would have been
right?
like,
Like, what a joke.
yeah, what a joke.
Me? Are
Now
you
you're
kidding
doing
me?
it.
Yeah, it is wild. And it's funny to think back, and maybe you can relate to this as well, since you have your podcast here.
Mhm,
But I see now, because I love a good side hustle and I'm multi-passionate. Some say entrepreneur. I like multi-passionate
I like
individual.
multi-passionate.
Thank
That's nice. I've
you.
never heard that before.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
leaning
that.
into it. So you should.
I like that.
And so it's funny because I can look back to the past couple of years and some of the things, some of the businesses, side hustles that I've done, which I have like a little Etsy store, another store where I do some digital designs,
Okay.
kind of those, passive income
Passive income stuff.
opportunities,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
do it once, the work, and then you just forget about it. So none of them took off and were crazy successful.
Sure.
Okay. I'll be real. But every couple months I get maybe $100,
Yeah.
right? But here's why. Here's the thing that's really cool is I can look back and say, okay, I spent the time to learn this new skill in digital design, not digital design, Etsy store running those things, another online store, my CoCoCollier.com website, blah, blah, blah. All of that now has helped me be who I am today in this moment. And so running Lumina of Hope, I now have a lot of these wild, weird skills
That you
like
just picked up over
that
the
I've just
years.
randomly picked up, maybe not randomly over the years. And now I know the solution and how to make things happen, basically, which is really exciting to see.
Did you build your websites?
I did. Yeah.
You built Lumina of Hope?
Yeah. So I'm a
It's
website designer
fantastic.
now,
It
and
is
I'm
fantastic.
IT. I wear a few hats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful web. I make
Thank
websites as
you.
well.
Oh,
And I love it. It's great.
thank you so much
Yeah.
for saying that.
Yeah.
It's always a
very
work
well
in
done.
progress.
Oh, it's very well done.
Like my daughter was playing softball the other night and I had my laptop open and I mean, I'm watching the game, guys. I really am. But you go into, it's weird. You go into one thing that you need to change on your website and there's usually, oh, it'll be fast is what you think, right?
No, never.
There's like 15 subtasks underneath that, right? So it's like an hour and a half. Well, so I go in to make a change and then I'm like, oh, wait, this slug is wrong. This slug, and I never noticed it. Like, why didn't I notice it? Because when you're starting anything from scratch, there are so many extra pieces to it versus just coming in and making little corrections here and there. And so now I'm kind of in that season where I've got to go back and see, okay, you did it. You got the scratch part done. So but now we need to like perfect it a little bit. We need to polish it up a little bit. So it's not perfect. It's still work in progress. I feel like we'll always be a little bit work in progress for the next few months at least. But I thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I love it. And I love CoCo Collier .com as well.
You
I'm
think
looking
so?
at it right now.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's cute.
It's very different. It's hard when you are a multi-passionate person. Like, how do you how do you promote yourself when you have books and you do consulting and you do da 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 da?
I feel like,
You know?
do you ever feel like you're just constantly shoving stuff down people's throat when you're promoting yourself?
Sometimes,
Sometimes I
yeah.
feel like I'm just in people's face and they're just like, wow, you're trying to do so much. And it's like, I had this conversation with another guest not too long ago, but I said, I don't like to be put in a box.
I hate boxes.
I don't want someone to be like, oh yeah, Logan is this person only.
It's a label.
It is a label and I hate labels.
I don't either. They make me throw up.
Yeah. I don't like labels.
That's funny. I had that conversation with this lady yesterday that came over for coffee talk and a real coffee talk.
Yeah.
And she's younger than me and she's talking about it's kind of the same thing. And I said, I feel like, so I don't actually have a college degree. I'm gonna be real here. I've been to multiple universities and colleges and I got married young, 19. And so every time we would move because my husband's business, I would have to kind of start over. But at the same time, like I have 120 college hours but no degree. Okay. And the same time, I changed my major multiple times. And that's because I don't like labels. Nothing fit CoCo Collier.
Yeah.
And
correct.
I see that now. I didn't see that then, but there was no one size fits all. And I've always been against boxes. And it's funny because you have friends that love their box. They're kind of type A's and they're very routine based.
They're in that box and they're cool with it.
They're so cool with it. And I love that my friends, you know who I'm talking about right now, but that they acknowledge that they love their box and they love that I don't like boxes. And it's funny because if they're trying to think of something kind of wild and crazy, like as far as a solution goes, I feel like we're able to come up with solutions way easier because there's no restraints. There's nothing kind of boxing us in. There's no boundaries. We're thinking of multiple things, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just fun. Like doing the podcast, and then I also do kind of marketing services also for small
You
businesses
do?
and stuff. Oh, I do.
Oh, I didn't
Absolutely.
know that.
I do.
So
I
what's
sure
your
do.
website name?
Hammerhead Creations.
Hammerhead Creations.
That's the parent company over the marketing fund and the
Okay.
podcast fund.
What?
And then all the other little things that I'm trying to do, like
Yeah.
write the book, and I'm
Yeah.
doing a newsletter now, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna like,
It's a lot.
you know, trying to
Yeah.
though. I mean, you know, one of the things that's almost feels like a backhanded compliment when people will
What?
say like, man, you're just doing so much. It's so,
I hear that.
sometimes it sounds like it's coming from a place of like, chill
Guys,
out.
slow
Yeah,
down.
like slow down. And I'm just
Enjoy
like,
life.
no, like I would love to work for me, myself, and
I agree.
and I feel like I'm trying a bunch of things, and whichever one of them sticks
Yes.
will stick.
Yes.
I'm going to do the podcast forever, whether it sticks or
I like
not.
that.
But just like, you know, I'm going to try this. I'd love to write, you know, a pilot for a TV show. I'd love
Yes.
to write my own film. I'd love
Yes.
to direct the movie. I'd love to act in the movie.
Yeah.
I'd love to do all kinds of different things. Like whenever I see like people's bios and it says, oh, I've been a part of like 6 different businesses. I've bought and
Mhm.
sold businesses. I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun.
Right. What was that like?
You're
You
right.
know?
Right. And it's like, man, there's the ceiling is
I
so
love it.
high.
That's
It's so high.
total mind shift. Have you always felt that way?
No.
What changed in you to see it that way?
Well, honestly, I think when I was younger, I came from a very, I don't want to say boxed household, but I mean, my dad was an engineer or is an engineer. I mean,
that's what my husband is.
yeah, I mean, he, you know,
Okay.
he does, well, I guess he's an engineer. He's a project manager.
Yeah.
But I mean, he got a civil engineering
Yeah.
degree. And so he's just always done that his whole life. Nothing
Mhm.
else, no extra, no nothing. Just work, 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 work. You know, I'll pour my heart and soul into my
Yes.
full-time job. And, you know, kudos to them because they've gotten to be successful doing what they're doing. But it always just felt like when I was a kid, it's just like, you need to go to college, you need to get your degree, and you need to
Mhm.
do this for the rest of your life. You need to be
Right.
loyal to a company for the rest of your
Like,
life.
what?
And it's like, I can see my brother and sister younger doing that. But for me,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, you know, I enjoy working for who I work for during the day, but of course the goal would be to not work for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just don't want to be put in a box.
Yeah.
And I hate the box. I hate the
I
box.
know. I want to kick it and
Yeah,
crash it.
for real. I
and throw it away.
want to
Destroy it.
break down that box.
I'm gonna put Des and Troy together and destroy it. My son used to say that.
That is so funny.
And this is my muscle Des, and this is Troy. I'm gonna destroy it.
That is really funny.
But it's funny that you said all that because I have a girlfriend, Sarah, and she's, you know, we're sitting around our circle of friends here, and this one does this and this one does that. And, you know, then there's me who is a hot mess doing everything. Right. And then she's like, and I just love being a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, that's awesome though.
Yeah.
Like she loves it.
Yeah.
And she is good at it. And she's like, can I just cheer you on? And I tell you what though, like I need that in my life. I need that person that can cheer me on. Like, you know, when I lost my mom to cancer, like, she was my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
And so what was really, really hard is that after I lost her, I lost that person that was speaking and believing into me left and right, every conversation, every phone call.
Yeah.
And for Sarah, I don't know if she even realizes how valuable and how much she means to me because she's my person in my corner that's always cheering me on.
I love that.
And I need that.
Everyone needs that.
Some people don't have that.
No.
They don't have a person in their lives, whether it's a relative or a friend or even a coworker, that they don't have somebody speaking in positivity and tell them they can reach that. And if you fail along it, so what? Like you don't know unless you try.
Right.
And that breaks my heart is when people don't have that.
Well, you know, I feel like, and I don't want to, who knows? They probably won't hear this, but I almost feel like I still feel to this day that it's not supported by my family.
Really?
Like they'll go, oh man, I see you're starting this, or I see you're starting that. Like, can you really handle that? And it's like, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
It just
That's unfortunate.
It is. I mean,
they say those words? That's gotta hurt.
It does. I mean, you know, like like I said, I'll get the backhanded compliments wherever I see extended family, and I'm like, really, you're doing this and this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
I am.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Can't you be cool with it?
Yeah. Like, why is it that I,
Yeah.
and it's just, I don't get the pats on the back like I want.
Yeah.
I'm a very like words of affirmation kind of guy.
Oh,
I really
yes.
like to hear, even like, when I was in high school and I would be in, petty little high school relationships, every
Yeah.
once in a while I'd just be like, hey, we're doing okay, right? Like
Right.
I'd like to hear the
Yeah.
feedback. And if we're doing bad, like tell me so we can fix it.
Right.
But like I need the constant like
You
affirmation
need
that
some
like I'm
words.
doing all right.
Yeah.
And luckily my wife does provide that for me.
That's good.
But a lot of the people in my life will be like, oh, that's cool. But it's not
Yeah.
genuine and you can tell it's fake.
I bet
And
it'll come.
I hope
It's just
so.
not there yet.
I don't, I really, I mean, I
think
don't
it
want to be a
will.
negative Nancy about it, but
I hear you.
I'm like not in a place where I feel like my family's on my side.
So, I feel like there's also this generation of people that were fed this lie that you also have to have and I was told this as well, like you have to have a 4-year degree
Mhm.
and you have to make that decision on what that profession
Yeah,
is.
you do.
And you have to make that investment money wise, whether because in I was in college in Missouri. So
Okay.
like we didn't have the Hope Scholarship in
Right.
Georgia.
Right.
So like you're taking out student loans and you have to feed into that narrative of deciding I want to be a nurse for the rest of my life, the next 50, 60, 70 years. Are you kidding me right now?
Hell no.
But there's so many people in this like that type of age group, I feel like that were fed that lie. And then there's even people now that still feel like that's the truth to them, but they're not willing, like they don't realize that doesn't have to be the case anymore, And
Yeah.
I think there's some people in their 20s and 30s that are starting to see it's okay to change your mind about things. Like
Mhm.
you think about your 20-year-old self or 18, 19-year-old self trying to decide what they're going to do for college or the rest of their life. That is freaking scary.
It is
What
terrifying.
if you get it wrong?
I
You're
got it
most
wrong.
likely going to get it
I
wrong. Let
got
me
it
just
wrong.
tell you.
I got my 4-year degree and it is it's
Really? What is it in?
it's in computer science. Like
Okay.
programming.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I could do it, but would I love doing it?
No.
You know what I mean?
Not at all. I can do it, but
Right.
do I love it? No. So I don't
No.
use that degree. I
That's
almost
so
feel like I wasted my parents put me
isolating.
through college.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't have student debt like a lot of people do, but I feel like it was a waste of money.
Yeah, it's gotta be isolating. You're a social guy. You don't wanna be behind a
No.
screen doing
The only
coding and
screen I want to
things.
be behind is this one
Yeah.
where I'm getting to do
What you wanna do.
what I want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just not that
Right.
person.
Well, and think about, okay, let's take our careers and set that aside, but think about all the life lessons in just from your 20s to 30s that you've grown through, right? And you're a different person than you were than you were when you're 20 years old.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
you have different wants and desires, and that is okay. Those are going to change. And in 10 more years, 15 more years after you guys have kids and stuff, your needs and wants are going to change.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what's crazy is like looking back to when I was 20, and that was just less than 10 years ago. It was 8 years ago when I was 20. And it was like, I might have believed my parents about like I do need
Yeah.
to graduate college. I need to go and work for a company and work for them and make someone else rich for the rest
Yeah.
of my life. And it's like, if I could go back and be like, don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Just like
Right.
be in their ear, just like, don't listen to
Right.
them. Start now. It's like, oh man,
I know.
where could I be if I had started earlier?
I know. But you know what though? You wouldn't be where you're at right now.
I agree.
If you jump started it straight to this.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be this version of yourself.
There's pieces of my story that I hate, but they are part of my story. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't be here if I
Right.
didn't have that story.
I said that the other day to somebody and I said, this past 40 years, I think CoCo as a teenager, in my mind, I was going to have like family of 5, white picket fence, and this beautiful future ahead of me is going to be perfect. What I didn't know then is that, my struggles with infertility, I had problems getting pregnant. I had problems carrying a pregnancy.
Mhm.
And it was many, many years. My oldest was adopted from Guatemala. My second was an IVF miracle baby, and his twin did not make it. So I have 3 babies in heaven right now. Thank you. But all of those moments of hardship is help helped build what you're seeing here today, right? And in that moment, that was one of the hardest times in my life. And I had the second one I'll talk about in a second. But for me, it's weird because I've noticed this pattern, when you're in this dark time and it's like the devil is trying to tell you like you're the only one going through it
Mhm.
and you should be ashamed of yourself because that's kind of what I listened to. Unfortunately, I felt like I couldn't, I was doing something wrong, or why am I being punished, and I was very isolated, and it took me time to grow out of that, right? And then fast forward to when I lost my mom to cancer. I fell into this very toxic relationship with grief. I mean, and I'm a
Mhm.
visual person, and I think
Mhm.
you may have some, a little
Mhm.
creative.
Mhm.
So to me, what that looked like was I lost my sunshine, which was my mama, and this toxic a-hole grief. And if I could visualize it, would be this almost a smoky black tarry
Mhm.
figure,
Mhm.
this a male figure.
Mhm.
And I was in this relationship with him. And it was like he would comfort me and wrap his arms around me, make me think I'm cozy
Yeah.
in this darkness. And then the second I realized, hey, but I can't even really see my family anymore. They're like
Yeah.
over there. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm there. I need to get back to them,
Mhm.
or my friends. I need to get back to them. My
Mhm.
goals, my wants. I need to get back to that. And the second I would try to break up with grief, it was like he would reach out and grab along my leg and down to my ankle, and he would sink his nasty tarry claws into my ankle and he'd pull me back into that
Mhm.
relationship.
Mhm.
So for me, that was the hardest time in my life. And it took me, gosh, it's been 8 years since I had to bury my mom. And it's taken me every bit of those years to get out of it, to get out of that funk. But here's the thing. And I was telling someone, I said, it's really taken me off because I feel like when people go through like that darkness and that hardship and they lose hope in themselves and in life, and they have trouble breathing, right? I said I hate that they don't have that positivity, that's something that's pulling them out of that light. And it makes me mad that they start to listen to the devil and they start to
Mhm.
think that they're the only ones going through it when they're never the only ones going through it. Which is why we do these retreats, is because these women are connecting with women that are in the exact same shoes as they
Yeah.
are
You are
in,
not alone.
right? And I told Sarah this one day, and I said, I want to take my past 40 years of hell and back because it has not been pleasant. But I want to take those and I want to apply it and start speaking and believing for another 40, 50 years of my life. And taking all the things that I've learned and I've been through to really just elevate my life and to go from just struggling, bobbling along to life as it affects me, right? To someone that is thriving. And I want my family to thrive. I want you to thrive in your business. Like that's what I want. I feel like we live in this world of abundance, like all around us, but so many people don't even see it, or they have that negative Nancy in their head and they don't believe that they're worthy of that abundance. And I'm like, why is that? Why don't you see? And I was one of those people too. Like it's taken me so many years to see that I am worthy of love, worthy of this abundance, worthy of this moment and opportunity to speak with you. I'm worthy of it. It's just weird. I don't know.
No, it's not
But
weird at all.
we had to go through it.
It's really inspiring, first of all. I love it.
Think so?
I could just sit here and listen to you talk for hours.
Oh
It's
God. I
incredible.
feel like I'm such a bore.
No, not at all. I feel like there's going to be so much value here for people.
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
so much. I mean, and I've already been thinking about this since we've started because we're an hour and a half in.
Oh my gosh.
And
Okay.
I've been thinking like, there's no way that this is going to be a one and done. We're going to get together periodically and do this.
Really?
If you want
Oh
to,
my
I'd love
gosh.
to have you keep coming back
Yeah.
because there's so much we haven't even grasped.
I would love to come back.
And I'm not putting a plug in it
Yeah.
now, but I'm just saying like I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, you ever like sit and talk to somebody, especially professionally, and like we're doing right now, and I'm like, I want to help this person win in any way I can.
Yes.
And I just sit here
I
and I'm just
do.
like, you're so cool. And all
Oh,
the shit that you do for people and other women. And I'm sure your family, I'm sure you're a rock star of a mom.
no, I'm actually the world's okayest mom. I do claim that label. It's actually was on my Facebook for a long
Really,
time.
world's okayest
Yeah, and
mom.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I've accepted it.
Well, your kids don't tell you this, but they love you and appreciate you for all that you do for
Oh,
them.
you're sweet.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
you're a rock star. Every
Thank
mom
you.
is a rock star for me.
They
To me,
are.
like
I agree.
just seeing like going and
Mhm.
seeing like your friends become moms and like
Mhm.
watching them like
Something,
I
isn't it?
like every once in a while like I'll see something on Instagram that says like send this to a mom that needs to know she's doing her best or something, so I'll send it to
Yes.
all my friends that are moms.
Good for
And I
you.
just like I love to support the
And
people around
acknowledge
me
them. That's
and like hey
awesome.
like you probably don't get told on a
Mhm.
regular everyday basis
We don't.
because it's a full-time job that you never get reviews for, you never
Yeah,
get feedback from.
we
I mean,
don't,
you're just figuring it out in the moment,
unless it's Mother's Day.
unless it's Mother's Day, which every day should be Mother's Day. But it's a job in and of itself, so
It
it's
is.
super inspiring.
That's nice that you say that.
Yeah,
So sweet of you.
yeah.
You remind me so much of one of my brothers. Oh,
Really?
a couple of my
Is
brothers.
he a
Like a
rock
kind of a
star?
mix. I like to think that they are all rock stars. I
Yeah.
mean, like
But this one in
that
particular is
one in
pretty awesome.
particular, I mean, opening for Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
awesome.
mean, I don't have a favorite brother, but yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to even be here and to talk and to help make me comfortable and fight through my insecurities and fear of being videotaped and speaking. So thank you for that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where like everybody always sits down, they're like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?" And then within 20 minutes, they're just off to the races. And it's
Yeah,
like my goal is to just make whoever I'm sitting in front of just as comfortable as
I
possible.
appreciate it.
It's like,
Clearly, movies was the right choice to go
yes,
through.
it's a great icebreaker because everyone and you ever meet someone that's like, "Oh, I don't really watch movies." I'm like, "Who
I
are you?"
know. No, well, my thing is, oh, I don't listen to music.
Yeah,
I had somebody say that to me when I was in my 20s. And I
that's
was like,
weird.
I think I know why we don't mix very well
Yeah.
now.
Oh, so you're a serial killer. Got it.
Right?
I'll see I'll see your face on the news in 10 years.
You walk in darkness. Okay.
Okay, so you are telling me that you sit in your car and you just sit in
It's silent.
silence?
And they said
And
that
some
they
people
do.
do.
I know. What's
Serial
that
killers.
like?
I bet Jeffrey Dahmer did that.
Yeah, that's so
He
terrifying.
didn't listen to music. I bet he didn't listen to music.
Let the light in. Isn't that
I bet even
wasn't
Jeffrey
that the
Dahmer
song?
listened to music. I bet he was a fan of something.
What's the girl that sings like "Let the Light In"?
I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking
She's
about.
kind of like boho-y.
Yeah.
What is her
I
name?
don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Let the light in. Listen to music. We'll
Yeah,
plug it in.
I'd say so. I'd say so. What else?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I feel like right now. Okay, do you ever watch SNL? Did you ever
Yeah.
watch it
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the?
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
don't watch it so much now, but back in the day, I used
Yeah.
to. You
Yeah.
know, back with Molly
Oh yeah.
Shannon
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
Kristen Wiig.
Wig?
Is
Yeah.
it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. She's
And
hilarious.
oh, I love Kristen Wiig. But you know, they would get in this microphone and be like, "Ooh," or hot mic, and
Yeah.
then it's sweater weather and all. I don't know. That just takes me
Yeah.
back. I feel like we're doing some sort of SNL skit here.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
I'd love to do
surreal.
SNL. That'd be fun.
Oh,
I'd love
yeah.
to act.
I would.
I'd love to
Yeah.
voice act. I'd be good at that.
I think you should do that.
I would try.
We're in
I'd like
Atlanta.
to.
You should be able to do that.
I know.
I bet that's on Fiverr.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
Do some voiceovers.
I would love to do voiceovers.
Yeah.
I actually know somebody that does voiceover work, and she's
Really?
incredible too. She's amazing in and of herself. But every time she talks about it, I'm like, I would love to voice act.
Yeah. I want to be one of those cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Like with a really funny, funky voice.
I would love to take my book and make it a short film and
Ooh,
voice one of the characters. Because there's
that
no
would be
way it would
fun.
be live action.
Right?
Because if it was live action, I'd have to hire animators and stuff, and that would be weird. Because
That's-
my book is going to be about animals. Animals
Okay.
are involved,
Okay.
and that sounds like a lot. But so we'll do.
Well,
we'll do.
animals are great.
Well, they
so-
are. More specifically, ocean animals. My book will
Oh.
take place under the sea.
Oh, okay. Kind of octonauts.
Kinda.
Do you know what octonauts are? Yeah, it's like preschool thing.
Yeah, no idea.
Cartoon.
I've heard the name, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I grew up in Florida and we used to go, my mom would take, because it's free, go to the bay. We'd
Yeah.
swim there all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like for some reason I have a little bit of anxiety when it comes to the ocean.
Oh God, biggest
And-
fear. Hello.
Right. And finding out that the orcas were coming, or I think for whatever reason, all right, y'all know that in that Destin area, that 40 or 38 area,
Mhm.
there's like the whole shark action, lots
Yeah.
of
Oh,
heavy
yeah.
action. And then they start talking about orcas. And in this girl's mind, and to keep my mind safe and protected, I was thinking that there's no way orcas come into the Gulf of Mexico. And then I'm like, oh wait, what? They're like close by. Orcas could get to me at any time.
I would
thought it
think
was
that
insane.
orcas would only swim in like cold water.
I thought so too. So I'm not okay with that. And my daughter loves to scuba dive. She's so passionate about scuba diving.
That's really cool.
She went scuba diving with some big hammerhead sharks. Like her team from her school has a picture with their school flag underwater with these giant hammerhead sharks.
Hell no.
And I'm like,
although
how?
Hammerhead is my company logo, so
Right.
I mean,
so you kind of need to do it now.
I that would be so badass.
You
to
need
go
to do that,
but
Logan.
my biggest fear are sharks. So freaking afraid of sharks.
Let's push through that fear and do it.
God,
right?
no. I'll take that.
Come on.
Nah, I'm not right.
You're only perceiving it as fear because you haven't experienced it yet.
Oh God, I would not. You would have to write a very large check to me to get in the water with sharks.
Well, you guys heard it first. If there's a check coming in, who should they make the check out to?
Hammerhead Creations.
And Logan here has admitted that you will.
I will do it.
Yeah. So what's that number need to look like so we know?
It's got to have a few zeros.
We need to have a goal here.
I've always said I would love to go swim with sea life, like maybe at the aquarium. Like I would do it in one of their tanks at the aquarium.
That's a baby step.
But like even just talking about it, my heart is racing right now. Like I'm so afraid.
You don't
so
like it,
afraid.
do you?
No, God, that's my biggest fear.
You got to lean into it.
I know,
so
but
what's the number to get you to do that with a large?
Is Lumina of Hope going to make a donation?
I just want to know, do we need to have a gala for this? Like, what does that look like?
You know what? If we had a fundraiser, I'll go on the air and say this right here, right now. If we had a fundraiser and all the proceeds went to paying me, and you know what? I will turn around and make donations to all of my network's nonprofits. So Lumina of Hope would get some money out of this. Okay. I will, for an amount of money that I'm still deciding on in my head right now, I will jump in the water with some sharks at the aquarium.
Okay, that's not good enough though.
It's a safe environment.
That's a baby step.
It's a baby step.
I want hammerhead. We need the hammerhead.
Where am I going to find a hammerhead shark?
I can tell you the Bahamas.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
The Bahamas.
I'll tell you this right now, CoCo, I will not do that for any amount of money. I will not do it.
What if it was like $200,000? You're saying for $200,000 you wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't.
Are you sure?
I'm not doing it.
What if your wife heard that? Do you think she would agree, or would she be like,
she'd agree.
Dude, you need to do it?
Well, I mean, shoot. I mean, give me the circumstances. I mean, I'm not going to just be in one of those flimsy metal bar cages, am I?
No. Oh, no. Like, why would you go? I don't understand that. Why would you go in a cage underwater?
Are you saying like free dive?
No, yeah, you're free dive. Like, seriously. She and these teenagers, no wall. But I would tell you, like, you're going with this crew, right? So you've got these other scuba divers that are professionals, and they know how to redirect the sharks. They also know how to draw in the sharks so that you are able to get your, Hammerhead Creations flag underwater with a large.
And it would be so awesome.
I'm picturing it too, and you need to do it.
Oh God!
You need this.
You know what? Okay, I'll do it.
For what? What amount?
I will do exactly that. I will hire a team of people or sign up for a program where I can go and scuba dive with hammerhead sharks.
I love it.
And I will do it for
the number. Drum roll.
You know what? I'll do it for $200,000.
So attainable.
Is it?
I think it is. I mean, we're living in abundance. Remember, it's a whole mindset, guys. So like if everybody that sees this sends what? $25?
Yeah.
And what was the place? The coffee? What was that place?
Buy me a coffee.
Buy me a coffee.
Yeah. If everyone goes to
the panic in your face right now, you're like, you won't stop touching your face. So I think he's sweating a little bit.
Sweating a little bit. Listen, if I. Okay. Let me. Ooh, okay.
So do you have a link to where we can make this this donation, this little investment here to Hammerhead Creations? Is it on? Is it on your YouTube? Is it on your podcast too? Like a link?
Yeah.
Okay. And what does the link say? It says the coffee thingy?
It's like called buymeacoffee.com/yourmorningdrive or something like that.
/yourmorningdrive. Okay. Everybody that's watching this, we put in, let's commit $25, right? It's one meal, one Chick-fil-A meal that's donated to this cause. If we get $200,000, Logan's going to go swim with hammerhead sharks, and he's going to take his flag, Hammerhead Creations, down under the water. He's going to fight through this fearful moment, and it will be magnificent. I want that for you.
I want it too, but like,
You need it.
I'm so scared.
I would be too.
I'm
I'm so glad this is you and
I'm
I.
terrified at the slight possibility that the universe comes together and does this.
Oh, we're so powerful as a team. When there's more than one that unite under one goal. It's gonna
Is the
happen.
Bahamas where I would go for this?
You would go for that. Yeah. Yeah. There's a place. So they like there's hammerheads, giant hammerheads, and it's like mating season or something like that. Maybe not. Maybe you don't want the mating season. I don't remember. But I'm trying to think of when my daughter went. I think it was in March. And I don't even what is it? Bimini?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And I don't know. But anyways, that's where she went. And like there were teenagers that went and did this. So if the teenagers can do it, you can do it too, Logan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I'm like looking at this website right now where they dive with hammerhead sharks. Is it safe?
Yes, it is safe.
This says, is it safe to dive with hammerhead sharks? Hammerhead sharks are a large species of shark, but they are not a threat to
See,
humans.
right there.
Hammerheads aren't aggressive towards humans.
There we go.
Although, on rare occasions, sharks have attacked people.
On rare occasions.
Where can you, the Galapagos Islands?
Bimini. Look that up. Bimini. Bimini, I think it's
Let me think about this. There have been 38 recorded hammerhead attacks on human beings since
what?
1580.
That's it. So there's hope. You can do this.
I will do this for $200,000.
You should.
I will make donations to charities.
I love it.
Part of that money has to be used to get me there.
Yes. No. Well, of course. Like you got to have your team, your safety crew.
Because if we're gonna do this, we're gonna go out and I'm gonna hire an underwater videographer.
Yes.
To follow me underwater and film the whole thing.
Yes, you need that.
We're all gonna have like little walkie-talkies inside our scuba thing, so I can be like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
Is that a thing? Do they have
walkie-talkies? I think they can.
In their scuba thing?
At least in the movies they do.
Those Jaws movies that you've been watching.
They're like, hey, do you see the shark over there?
I guess they do.
Right? They have something.
Without getting water in it.
If I could get in like an Iron Man suit and get underwater,
that sounds very heavy.
Yeah, it does. But although if a shark attacks me, it's going to take a bite out of a piece of metal.
That's true.
What if the shark I would pee my pants you're just
probably going to pee your pants.
Imagining being on the boat and they're like, all right, dive backwards, and then you do the backwards thing, and then there's just sharks right there.
Right there.
Oh, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Yeah. You won't be the only one, probably.
This is true.
Yeah.
I will be with a team of people. I would need at least 6 people with me.
Yeah.
So that there's a wall around me.
Right.
So if one of the people gets attacked, I'm swimming up to the boat.
What was the wall called in Game of Thrones? Like, was it the ice wall?
Maybe the wall, the Great Wall. I don't know.
Yeah. To keep like the other people out, the ice people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to break through that wall.
And you know what? I could even one up this and say, if I get that $200,000, you've got to go too.
What?
You've got to go too, because you're sitting here in this moment. You're sitting here encouraging it. You've got to go too.
Buddy, if you only knew how many times since I have agreed to start this nonprofit that I have been put through so many fearful moments, it would blow your mind. I can't even keep track of it.
So what's
all
one
these
more?
Times that I don't.
Plus, afterwards, we book it so that it's a vacation. The first day we do this, and then the rest of the week, your family gets to go stay in some cool cottage. Me and my wife get to go stay in some cool cottage.
Oh my God.
And then it's just a vacation.
When my family watches this, they are going to be like all in. My husband, he will make the biggest donation. I can tell you that right now.
Don't.
I can tell you that. You know why? If he could wish anything in his wife, that if there's something I'm lacking, it would be this one thing, and that is to scuba dive. He has been trying to get me to become scuba certified for forever now. Years.
What's your husband's name?
Years. Rob. His name is Rob.
If you make the large, generous donation of $200,000, our families will go to this place and swim with hammerhead sharks as a group, and then we're going to enjoy a great vacation. We can talk about it over dinner if you want to.
Funds.
Yes, thanks to your funds. You're,
Ah,
if this really takes off, this would be so cool.
oh my God. It would be
But like currently, my
a
stomach
spiritual
hurts.
moment for me. I know. It would be a spiritual moment, an awakening.
Dude, if I could, I mean,
So we're going to still use the word if, or we just say when I do it?
when we do this,
Yes.
because it's a we thing now.
I want to throw up. I'm throwing
Um,
up inside right now. Like, oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I mean, like, did you see how red I was when you were talking about? I was like,
I'm sweating.
I was like,
I'm sweating.
I
right
was
now.
like, oh my God, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, just my luck that this is gonna be the podcast that catches major viral, and people are gonna donate from all around the world, and we're gonna hit $200,000 in like 3 weeks.
I would, yeah.
And I'd have to, and
My
I'd call
eyes
you
would permanently be like this.
if you get a random call from me in like 6 months, and I'm like, hey,
Hey, you remember that
guess
time?
what? We raised $400,000.
Guess what? You're never gonna guess it. You know what? And that's just it. I mean, God has been doing so many wild things that I can absolutely wholeheartedly see this happening. And that terrifies the living daylights out of me. Look at us. I'm so stressed right now. Can I breathe? My inhaler's over there. So if I pass out,
Mine's in my pocket. So if you need it real quick, I can throw it to you.
Are we both asthmatic?
Oh,
Oh, dear God.
absolutely.
We would make great scuba team, right?
Yes, we would. They would. Hey, at least they won't let us get into the military. They're like, oh, you got asthma? Oh, go see that guy. And the guy is just like,
Oh my
no.
God. We'll have to have like extra backup inhalers on that day
Yeah.
that just to get on that boat to go out to the location. I can see us go.
I'm gonna be the worst person. I'm the most negative Nancy when I'm afraid of something, though. So, like, imagine us on the boat on the way out to the thing, and I'm just like pacing back and forth. I'm like, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. I'm gonna die. We're gonna die. This is it.
Oh my
We're gonna die.
God.
I'm gonna die with CoCo in the middle of the ocean,
My gosh.
and we're gonna get eaten by
All-
hammerhead sharks.
All for Hammerhead Creations.
How cool would it be though to change the logo
Oh my God.
from like a generic
What?
Canva logo to like a real picture
You
of
would
me
be
like
owning
posing
it.
with a hammerhead shark?
You would be owning it.
That'd be so sick.
You would be owning it. Like that is leveling up, buddy. We should do it. We should do it. Oh my God.
We will do it. Rob, you heard it here. Buymeacoffee.com/your
my gosh. I could see because he's probably like, even his work crew is probably tired of hearing him complain about how he cannot get his wife into the scuba gear to go into the water. Right. And I could absolutely see this team of engineers saying, dude, we got $50. We all going to join hands and put it in there. And that is going to,
as hard as it's going to be
freaking
to
happen.
not spend a dime of this money because it
Whoa.
all has to go through, it has to go to charities and everything. I will open up a sub savings account to throw all this money into it. I will do it. I will do it. Like if we're talking about this, we'll do it.
oh my gosh.
We'll do it. $200,000.
Woof. I thought 200 was for you. Like, shouldn't we up it if I have to do it too?
Okay, then let's do
I'm kidding.
300,000.
200 is fine.
200,000. And we both
But
will
shoot
get
a
paid for the
bear.
experience though.
Yeah.
We'll have to get paid.
Well, we gotta,
and then the rest of the money goes towards foundations and charities.
I bet that we could do it for under like 10,000.
Like get there?
I think we could. Oh, we could totally get there.
We could get there for $10,000.
I think so. Yeah. And then
after it's all said and done, like video
the
crew,
videographer, maybe we could get someone to donate their time.
Yeah.
I can have a conversation with them, I think, and get people to do that.
Yeah.
You could have sponsorship opportunities as well.
we could make a thing out of this.
Something to think about. So speaking of sponsorship opportunities, I do have sponsorship opportunities for our gala.
Okay.
And I would love to have some of the local businesses sponsor Lumina of Hope's Bridgerton themed gala. It is a great way to not only give to a good cause. We're a 501c3, so it's a tax write-off, end of the year tax write-off. Who doesn't need that, right?
Right.
And then on top of that, you are given to a really good cause. So,
and just inquiring for interest at this point.
Yes.
Are there like specific kinds of organizations that you want to sponsor, or are you just unless you know?
We're open
Are
to anything.
And what do those sponsorship packages look like?
So they're on our website. If you go to luminaofhope.com, backsplash, should be sponsorship because I fixed a slug. But anyways, you should be able to see there's different levels. I think the lowest one starts at 2,500. The highest one's 10,000. The highest one comes with 2 or 3 tables at our gala, which is awesome. Each table seats 8 people. And then the next one I believe is at 7,500 and then 5,000. So the 7,500 includes a table or 2, and then the 5,000 includes a couple tickets, I believe is how it's listed. There's also sponsorship opportunities, only 2 for the retreat, the women's leadership retreat too. So like for that, probably more of a women-owned business. Like if you want to speak into these ladies and get your business name out there, that's a good opportunity. But for the gala, anything like we need some of those sponsorships, man. And I think the top one has an opportunity to speak at the gala.
I think so.
For a couple minutes, which is a great opportunity. Some people take those opportunities during galas and some don't. I went to my first gala ever a couple weeks ago. Have you been to many?
I've been to a few. I love them.
Okay, so my first one was Rescuing Hope. Susan Norris, the founder of Rescuing Hope. Do you know it?
Yeah, I know the charity. Yeah.
Okay, so that was so cool. A lady connected Susan Norris and I. She honored me with a coffee, which was amazing, and said, I'm available if you need any help or resources, because she started that nonprofit herself. And so I was so appreciative. I wanted to support her and went to it. So Rescuing Hope, they fight sex traffickers, human trafficking, like those are their things. And so that was a really cool experience. But
that is cool.
If you have the opportunity, I think her galas usually run in August and it's in Atlanta. I would wholeheartedly do it because that is a legit thing that's happening here. It's happening all over the US. So all over the world.
Yeah.
And
everywhere.
So that's a good cause. If I want to plug in another nonprofit, I 100% support.
Love that.
Yeah.
This portion of the podcast is also brought to us by Stage Dive. Stage Dive is a music and podcast streaming platform that aims to put creators first, meaning your subscription will directly benefit the creators that you love. Stage Dive does not play ads among their creators' content. Instead, they provide a subscription-based model where listeners can discover new music, comedy, podcasts, everything in between for a fixed monthly fee. When creators attract a listener's attention, they earn a portion of that listener's monthly subscription. With code YMD25, you'll get 25% off your first month's subscription. Now, the subscription is only $3.99 a month. So that means with my code, you can get your first month of listening for less than half of a cup of coffee from Starbucks. That means you can support your favorite indie artists and indie creators for less than $3 for your first month. www.stagedive.com. So CoCo, there comes a time in every conversation that I have with someone that I do kind of transition to more of an interview style format.
Oh, gosh.
And I ask the guest questions that I do not prepare them for, but they're all very first date like questions. So they're all easy, fun questions.
Okay.
And they're kind of a way to wrap up the conversation.
Okay.
But have no fear, because I want you to come back because we have so much more to talk about, I feel like.
Yes, we do. We do.
And this has been so fun. You're like,
Yay.
I want you around. Like,
Yay.
you're a fun ass person.
Thank you. Did
So,
y'all hear that? No,
yeah, for sure. I mean,
my kids, I was talking to my kids right then. Did y'all hear that?
Hey, your mom is fun.
Yay. I'm the cool mom.
Yes, she is. Cool mom.
They're like, mom,
early
cringe.
30s.
They're going to be like, cringe, mom.
Yeah, they're going to be like, that is so, or whatever they say. Skibbity.
Skibbity.
I don't even know what that
means. My son just schooled me on that too.
Skibbity.
Oh, no, side note, before we get started, did you know that bruh is different than bro?
Bruh?
Like bruh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I just found out.
Bruh is more of like a, bruh.
Like annoyed is like what my kids told me.
Yeah. Seriously?
And so I just found this out yesterday.
Yeah.
And so now all I can think about is all the times that my kids have called me bruh.
Yeah. It's because they're like, really, mom?
Seriously? Yeah.
That's like when you say, like, you pick them up from school and they're like, can we get McDonald's? And you're like, we have food at home.
Yeah.
They're like, bruh.
Yeah. And I say bruh all the time. Like I have stopped saying bro. So now do people, when I say bruh, they think like I'm annoyed with
It's
them?
more like drawn out though. You can't just hit them with bruh. It's got like bruh.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong then.
Like,
bruh.
It's like, but with a BR. Bruh.
All right. So interview
This
me.
one's for the kids. Favorite movie?
Ooh. know if I can pick a favorite. I have so many favorites. Favorite movie. What would my favorite be? It's going to have to be the one that I watch every single. Oh, there's a couple I watch every single year. Okay.
Hit me with them.
Okay. So National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes, what a
Of
queen.
course.
Of course.
It can be playing every single day all year long. Like I'm okay with that. Like it's just so good. So I would say that. I would say, ooh, I do like Love Actually. I do like that. I know. I will say favorite movie. Oh, World War Z.
Really?
One of my favorites because I felt like they finally someone did zombies justice.
Yeah.
Like that is my
That's a good
vision
movie.
for what that would look like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm ready. I am so ready.
Are you?
Yeah. All right. Anyways, those are probably my favorites.
Those are good answers.
Very
Good
different.
answers. Very different answers.
I'm weird.
You're great. First car. What was it?
First car, I think it was this like old Buick that my dad had, and I drove it for like however many months.
Yeah.
And then I think we did like the classic Toyota Corolla.
There
after
you
that,
go.
you
Hell
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
What was your first ever job?
My first job. So I actually worked 2 jobs my senior year in high school. I worked at Fashion Bug. Did y'all have Fashion Bug here in Georgia?
Think so. I don't think so.
It's kind of like, it's like a women's fashion store. And I worked there and I worked at JC Penney's, and I started off as like one of those wrapper at Christmas time. I would wrap presents.
Yeah.
And then I kept on in the returns catalog department.
Okay.
And then I also babysat my 2 youngest baby brothers. So that was my life, my senior year.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Rank these 3 things in order of your favorite to least favorite.
Okay.
Salsa, guac, and queso.
Oh, that's very easy.
Yeah.
Guac is my favorite.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then I would go to salsa and then queso.
Okay.
And it's got to be jalapeno queso.
Okay.
Mhm.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. But all 3 things are great.
They're all amazing. Mhm.
This is morbid, but if you were getting the electric chair tomorrow,
Okay.
what would your last meal on earth be?
Ooh,
From any restaurant,
easy.
home cooking, anything.
I will make a meal out of chocolate covered strawberries, and it's with the Ghirardelli chocolate made at home, made by my daughter. And that would be my meal. That's all I want. That's all I ever want is chocolate covered strawberries with the Ghirardelli chocolate.
Love that. Great answer.
I love it.
Great
so
answer.
Good.
We talked about music a little bit earlier, so this one is great. So imagine you're getting to organize a music festival.
Okay.
And
this is fun.
you get to pick the 3 headliners. It's essentially a music festival that's for you.
Yes.
Who are those 3 headliners?
Easy. I'm going to mispronounce her name, but is it SZA?
SZA? Yeah.
Love her music.
Okay.
Because it is just such a chill, cool beat and vibe. Love it. All right. So she absolutely would be there. Okay. Who would my next one be? Who would it be? Can they come back from heaven?
Yeah. Alive or dead. Yeah.
All right. I would have my girl, Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Yes. She would cover everything. So, and then my third one, I feel like this is such an important decision.
SZA and Whitney are very good.
Yes. What else? Who would be my next one? Oh, I love her. I love her music. Lizzo. I love Lizzo. Yes.
We love this lineup.
It would be an awesome concert.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd say so.
Festival. Oh,
yes.
Love it.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm buying tickets.
Thank you. We'll be sold out.
Yes, you will. Yeah. Need to buy them quick. On a day where you don't have obligations, which I'm sure rarely exists, but on a day that you get to take care of yourself, what does a self-care day look like for you?
I love these. And I'm actually working really hard at making this happen more often in my life.
Sure.
Okay. So I love a good hike.
Okay.
I have learned also, though, I am a fall winter hiker because of snakes.
Yep.
So a hike in the woods, if I can see, I'm a tree hugger too. I love me some trees. I can write poetry about trees. Like I love some beautiful,
love some trees,
green trees. So that's what that would look like. And that makes my heart so happy. And some quiet time out in the woods. I love that. If we could be up north and there's a beautiful fireplace that I can kind of get cozy by, I'll take that. I love to be able to just read. I'm a big like dystopian sci-fi type reader. I'm a little nerdy, and that's what self-care looks like for me. And a good bath. I don't really drink very much because of my, my history, and I'm on an
Sure.
anti-inflammatory
Sure.
diet.
Sure.
And honestly, yeah, I don't even have to have alcohol, but that's what self-care looks like to me is
Okay.
good outdoor vibes, get some vitamin D, that sunshine,
Love it.
just count my blessings and be grateful for what I have.
I love it all. I love it all.
Yeah.
What does success look like to you?
Ooh. I think success looks like to me, it's joy. It's having, I know it's not monetary.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to say it's like just joy and happiness and peace because I feel like we all need that. And to
Mhm.
me, if that's achievable, then I'm successful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's deep, but
it is,
yeah.
but it's a good answer. Very good answer. What is your biggest fear?
This? No. I thought it was this, but now I'm thinking swimming with hammerhead sharks is
Yeah.
my biggest fear. It's funny because I was talking to somebody the other day about fear. And again, I am a little bit of a biblical person here, but the
Mhm.
Bible talks about, it says, do not fear. Do you know that it's written in the Bible like over 200 some odd times? Do not fear,
Wow.
which I think is so important.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, clearly he wants us to understand something. Like you shouldn't be fearful of things, right?
Sure.
But we are fearful of things. That
Sure.
happens. And I used to have bad nightmares as a child. And I would say, God did not give me a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind.
Sure.
And I would say that over and over and over and over again until I believed it.
Sure.
And then my nightmares slowly ended, right? My biggest fear right now would be that something would happen to my babies,
Mhm.
because before I lost my mom, death was something that only happened to other people out there,
Mhm. Mhm.
nobody in my close circle.
Mhm.
And
Understood.
then when that happened, it definitely changed something in me because it made it more like it's a possibility. Like tomorrow's not known. Like,
Mhm.
if I wake up breathing, that's great. I got another day on this planet. So to me, that's where my fear is, but I'm pushing through it. So
Okay. What is a hill that you are willing to die on? Whether it is a something that's controversial or something that's more playful. Do you know what I mean by a hill that you're willing to die on?
no, explain that
So
slogan.
a lot of people will say, like, if you're arguing something and they'll say, are you willing to die on that hill? And
Mhm.
that hill may mean, for example,
Oh,
some people hate ranch and they're like, ew, ranch is disgusting. I will
yeah,
fight that opinion to the death,
yeah.
essentially. So what's something like I've got one that people don't like.
What is that?
It is that I will always take a burger over a steak.
Oh,
Always. And people are like,
okay.
oh no, I'd always take a steak. And I'm like, nope, I will have a burger every day
Huh.
over a steak.
Okay.
Doesn't always have
Well,
to be food related, but like an opinion that you're like, some people are like, I hate
yeah,
iPhones. I will always have an Android phone. And I'm like,
yeah.
that sucks. Um,
I Mine's probably gonna be food related
okay.
because like on all of these other different battles, I'm in that point in my life where I am completely comfortable and okay with being where I'm at.
Yeah,
And
right.
I don't have to exhaust myself and energy
Right.
to agree to whatever somebody else is very passionate about. And they could tell me 2 + 2 is like 25. And I'm like, you're right, it is, and just
Yeah.
be so cool and happy with where
Yeah.
I'm at in my heart and my
Sure.
mind, my spirit.
Sure.
But food wise, it's mayonnaise. I don't understand people that enjoy mayonnaise. I have
Yeah.
a
It's
phobia
disgusting.
of milk.
Okay.
I pushed through a lot of that when my kids were little
Yeah. Probably had to.
because I was forced to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to,
Yeah.
and it makes me want to throw up
Okay.
still to this day.
Understood.
Whoa, no,
Understood.
no. So, anyways, that's the hill.
That's a good hill. That's
Okay,
a
thank
different one.
you.
I've not heard that one before,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll take it.
Milk phobia.
And then lastly, 10 years from now,
Uh,
where are you? What are
ooh,
you doing?
mm, love a good 10 years from now moment. Okay, so I'm very big into visualizing and speaking and believing what I want, right? I
Yeah,
think we've established that.
we have.
As far as me, I am living my best life, still cancer free, thriving, eating good, healthy, organic foods, enjoying the quiet times, enjoying the woods. Lumina of Hope is going global, and we are providing 100% scholarship opportunities to people that need to attend these retreats. And we're thriving and enjoying every moment of it. When we run these retreats, we're not stressed out. We're so in our moment. We are just enjoying each second of it. My babies have gone to college if they want to go to college. They're happy. That's what 10 years from now looks like for me. And I'm happy with that. And just enjoying life,
I love it.
you know?
It's a good
Yeah.
answer.
Thank you. What about for you though? Kind of want to know.
I probably swam with sharks.
Is that right? You do that all the time now, right?
Yeah,
That's what
I know,
10 years
right?
from now
That's
looks
10
like.
years from now. I host my own show on National Geographic. You know
That
what would be
would be
really
funny.
fun? This is my ADHD brain that just goes all over the place. What if in 10 years from now we have the technology to sit inside of an enclosed glass box
Okay.
underwater
That's
recording
scary.
these interviews with sharks swimming around them?
So that's so possible. Why does it have to be 10 years from now? I feel like that's doable now.
How will we get electricity down there?
Well, maybe it's like a submarine. All right, I'm thinking about some of these, like the Meg,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
they're in the water
Yeah.
and they're underwater, and then
Yeah.
there's like that openness to the water
Yeah.
that you can get to.
Yeah.
But we could be attached to the boat that's got the
Yeah.
electricity. There's cords that are protected by some sort of crazy shell. I
Yeah,
know we
sure.
have engineers that can help us with
Yeah,
this.
we do have engineers.
And then we would be in this little box. It doesn't have to be crazy deep water.
No.
But we're sitting on the nice ocean, comfortable floor.
Sure.
Nice,
Sure.
maybe 25 feet.
Yeah.
Probably
sure.
nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Something
nothing
that
more.
if we had to swim, we could swim up to the top, because I'm not a good swimmer. I got to tell you that. Side
Yeah.
note. Sorry. I am not a good swimmer, even though I grew up in Florida. I'm not strong. So that's going to be kind of hard.
That would be hard, but it will be fun.
But
It'll be a
we'll
good
get
time.
through it. We'll get through it. No one's drowning in that.
But also,
Okay.
I mean, the
Let's do it.
podcast is probably also global. I'm interviewing people full time.
Yes.
It's my job at
Yes.
that point.
What a fun job.
It'd be a great
You'd always
job.
have a tan because you'd be at the ocean.
Yeah, I would.
Right. Good vitamin D.
Probably have a couple kiddos.
Nice.
Probably.
They would be swimming while
They
you're
would
doing
be.
the
They
podcast.
would be.
Right.
And just free.
Free. Oh, that's such a powerful word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that.
Free from working for somebody else, free
Mhm.
from trying to build something so you can, provide for
Yeah.
your family, free from worry.
Yeah.
I know worry will always be there, but just freedom to deal with it however I choose to.
I like that. Mm-hmm. And owning that moment and being comfortable in that moment.
Yeah.
I love it. 10 years from now. Underwater.
That's right. Underwater. CoCo, now I'm going to let you look at the camera, look deep into the microphone and start plugging. We've talked a lot about Lumina of Hope, but I mean, plug,
I did not prepare for this moment, but I'll try.
Plug everything that you've got going on.
Lumina of Hope Foundation. Sorry, I need to go to my microphone. Sorry. You did tell me that I need to do this. So Lumina of Hope Foundation, you can find out more about what we do at luminaofhope.com. And we are on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We have business pages. They're funny because you got to pay to play. So I think most of the stuff that we talk about, though, for our foundation is also through my accounts, my social media accounts, which is CoCo Collier. It's CoCo Collier. And I am on TikTok, believe it or not. And a little bit on Instagram, not so much, more so on probably Facebook and a little bit on LinkedIn. But CoCoCollier.com is where you can find my books, and you can learn more about me, I want to say. And Lumina of Hope, definitely should go check it out, guys. I feel like sometimes I speak more to the women than I do in the men, but for men, you wouldn't be here if some woman hadn't, pushed you out of them. So I feel like it's still relatable, because you don't know until you need that moment, that hope, or someone in your life needs that. So you probably have a wife or a sister, a daughter, a mother, an aunt. So this is for our women that we just love on them. So I want to encourage you right now to go onto luminaofhope.com, learn more about what we do for our different retreats and the people that we serve, because we're saved to serve. And I'm a firm believer behind that, and love to see some presence there. So thank you for just even entertaining us by watching or listening to this podcast. And thank you, Logan, for this opportunity, and Hammerhead Creations. That's going to be amazing. Amazing moment, a magical moment when we received $200,000 to go scuba diving with hammerhead sharks.
Yes, it
With
will.
your flag.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. CoCo, thank you so much for giving me your time today. This
Happy
was
to.
such a joy. 2
Yay.
hours and 15 minutes.
Shut
One of the
up.
longest ones I've ever done.
Oh, I'm
One of the
sorry.
longest.
No
No,
one's
it's
going to
good.
watch that long or
No, they
listen
will.
to that.
They will. There's some good value in there.
Shoot a bear.
There's a lot of really good banter too, like just you
Really?
and I getting to know each other.
So do you do like short clips for the
I do.
people? Because I'm more of a 3 clipper type, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll cut 3 clips from this
oh,
episode
man.
of the good.
Do me
the
right. Don't
juicy
do me
stuff.
wrong
Oh no,
now.
I'll do you right.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
This has been fun though.
It has been so fun, and I want to work with you if any way I can.
Thank
I want
you.
to help you grow. I want you to help me
Appreciate
grow.
that. I want to help you grow.
I love everything about you. You're so
I'll
great.
cheer. I'll cheer. I'll be in your corner. Okay.
Okay,
I'll get my girl Sarah to join us too.
All right, Sarah, shout out to you. You guys, I will throw all the links to Lumina Hope in the description of the episode so that they're easily accessible. It'll be right next to the donate link so that you can donate to the Hammerhead cause.
Yes.
And, of course, follow her on the socials, follow me on the socials, share this with one friend that needs this. Maybe somebody needs to hear this conversation that we had today. Maybe they are struggling. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe they need a little bit of hope to get them through their morning on their way to whatever they've got going on. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate it as always. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Yay.